What's up, Bears fans? Happy New Year. This is the Bear Minimum brought to you by 4 Star Chicago Sports. I'm Dustin Jones. Brandon, what's up, man? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Dustin. How you doing?
I am tremendous, dude. Happy to be here. Um, Listen, we got a lot to get into. Final game of the season coming up. Lots of big games coming up, but you got the Bears Lions, 325 on Sunday. We're going to get into that. Me and Brandon want to go through what we were wrong about this year. Really kind of do a year in review in regards to what we fucking missed on completely. And then we want to do our 2026 NFL New Year's resolutions, just for us, and you guys can make your own, but just stuff that we should have known better, and maybe we should know better going forward. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Happy y'all are here. Let's get it. Oh, I forgot to get forgot to get to it. We're gonna get it. We're getting it now.
Windy City banners rocking 4 stars align. Dynasty dreams rise, Bulls in their prime. Cubs curse shattered, the victory divine. Fields be running, clock ticking on my timeline. Shot town heroes, legends never fade. Black Hawks flying, cutting ice with the blade. White Sox diamonds, the South Side parade. 4 stars shine bright, legacies they made. Mike with the crown, air rain, no dispute. Sweetness in the backfield, Walter in pursuit. Bear down Sunday's midfield, battles cute. Chicago.
Happy New Year, Vizzo Joe. Ted is like a boss. Same to you, brother. John,
Happy New Year's,
we
guys.
love
Thanks
you,
for being
man.
here.
Happy New Year. Thanks for being here. Um, Brandon, so much to get into. There was no Thursday night game tonight. So, like, I mean, there's college football playoffs, but like, Indiana beat the hell out of
Oof.
Alabama. Miss beat
Miami
Georgia.
smoked
Miami
us
yesterday,
yesterday.
that was crazy. I mean, Ohio State defense, I guess, kind of came to play, only allowed 17, but that Miami defense, man, held Ohio State to 17 points or
Pick,
14 points, 14
pick
to 24.
six,
Yeah. Yeah,
two
man.
interceptions. Yeah, the Miami defense was incredible. Miami at the line of scrimmage was just better.
I am of the opinion with the college football playoff, just real quick, that's just too much. And like, I feel like they're just going to keep adding more. And I think it's just too much, man. Like, I was fine with eight. Eight, I think, was a good number, but like, the 12, it's just too much. Like the first round matchups didn't really matter to me at all. There was no real pageantry to it, and like it's just these games, even tonight, like and yesterday, it's like it's just rough. I don't know, man. I don't know what it is. I don't know how
I don't
to.
like the makeup of it, man. I don't
What's up,
know. Like
Phil?
the team that gets
It's
the
great.
first round bye has like 1-5 in the playoffs because that's just not. I don't know. I don't love that. That's strange to me in itself. But
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I think Indiana's going to win it all,
what's going on,
personally.
J2K? What's up, everybody? So yeah, Dustin, to
But
dive into this
let's dive into
Detroit
the Bears game.
and talk about Caleb especially for sure. But um,
Well, there's a lot to talk about, man. I mean,
yeah, the
first of all,
narrative
I
the
wasn't. Let
narrative's
me.
still there.
Yep, yep, it is. What? Hold on. What narrative are you referring to?
Well, I talked about for weeks preceding this game what this game could be. You know, depending on who won or who lost. Lions could have been coming here to possibly play the Bears for a playoff seed. You know, as of 3 weeks
Mm.
ago, man, that
Yeah,
was the
it seemed
case.
like that was
Ben
the way it was
Johnson
going.
playing. They're coaching against his old coach. They're coming to your house after they kicked your ass and theirs. It was there's still a narrative around this game because of the Ben Johnson Detroit connection, but like it feels a little
Detroit's,
less
yeah, for sure.
climactic. I
Detroit's
think.
playing for pride.
Yeah.
The Eagles are sitting their starters. That's being reported. So it's like, is the 2 seed just the Bears? No matter what, we've been talking all this whole time leading up to this. Like, no matter what the stakes were, it felt like Ben Johnson was going to play his guys, and that's what I would do, and that's what I want him to do, and that's what's happening. So that's cool. And I think obviously Ben Johnson just wants to stick it to his old team. He's that type of dude. So that, like you said, that narrative is there, and that's going to be fun to watch. But man, I wasn't here on Monday, so I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about that game, and I mean that leads into that
Well,
Caleb
real,
conversation as well.
real quick. You said Ben wants to stick to his old. I think what's important that the Bears played really well in that San Francisco game, but they did lose.
Their
I don't
offense
think-
played really well.
I
Their
don't
defense
think-
played like shit.
I don't think Ben Johnson wants to finish the season on a loss, on a 2-game skid. I think he wants to go into the playoffs holding his head a little higher, man. So I think it's
I think the
important.
guys want that
I think
too.
for
Yeah.
sure. I think
The
everything
players
Ben
want that
wants
too.
is a sentiment of the team. Now at this
Mhm.
point, that's kind of how they all are, man. They're one unit. But I believe that you want to win a game going into the playoffs. I can't see that at any point Ben Johnson pulls the plug on this game, even if they're down.
No,
early,
no, sir.
Like,
And Brandon, I mean, like I've always been of the mindset, like don't rest your starters. I am that guy. Like I especially going into the playoffs, like you see those teams that rest their starters and they come out flat in the playoffs, or even the teams that get the buys, like they have that extra time off, and it's like they're rusty and it takes a while to knock it off. But all I'm saying is, regardless of all that, Ben, it does matter to Ben to beat that Lions team after the
Of
way
course.
they embarrassed them in week 2. 100%. Like you can chop it up any way you
and
want.
it matters. Well, so
Very
yeah, it
important.
matters to Ben because it's personal, and it matters to Caleb because of his 4,000 yards. But they're both focused on the bigger picture. They need to win a
Bears team.
football game going into the playoffs.
100%.
And I believe, fans sound pretty scared of whether we want to play the Packers 3 times. Ben does. Ben wants that 2 seed, and he wants to play that Packers team again. He doesn't care.
I think he, like you said, he just wants to win games, and whoever the competition is the competition. You got to beat who's in front of you, no matter what. Like you're gonna have to
Well,
beat
the 2
good
seed,
teams into the playoffs.
You're going to have home
the
field unless you're playing the 1 seed. So having the 2 seed is going to be a big deal in this football team.
And as I've discussed, and as the Soldier Field home field advantage is a huge thing, right? Obviously, just in and of itself, you're an outdoor team. There's some like West Coast teams in these playoffs, right? That they probably would prefer to not come to Chicago if they had the choice. But like Caleb's arm strength and his ability to throw in shitty conditions is unmatched by anyone in the NFL.
Well, and Dustin, there's
The Chicago Bears. So yeah, home field is huge.
There's some playoff teams that have some pretty brutal places to travel to. Seattle is a tough fucking place to play, man. And
Seattle's gonna have the one, yeah.
Philly's not a fun place to play either. So like you want to try to get that 2 seed and play majority of these playoffs in your own house. And that's important to Ben Johnson and the rest of this football team for sure.
Yeah, and there's so many like grand scheme things to talk about. Like when you bring that up, it makes me think like, say Seattle does secure the number 1 seed. That's the team I feel the best about losing the first time they play. of the Rams, of the Niners, and of the Seahawks. I feel the best about the Seahawks, and I've liked the Seahawks, Brandon. I picked them to go to the playoffs.
Their defense is really good, man.
Yeah, no doubt. But like Sam Darnold will make mistakes. That offense can get stagnant. It's just JSN. If you shut him down, it becomes really tough. That's the team I feel the least confident in. So it's like if they were to secure that number 1 seed, Brandon, and the Bears secure the number 2, now I'm feeling pretty good about having home field throughout potentially, because I don't know that the Seahawks are going to the NFC Championship, if they play, certain teams. So it's like that the idea of that makes me, a little excited. And then you're talking about the Bears and nailing down this number 2 seed that could, like you just pointed out, turn into home field throughout the entire playoffs, depending on how this thing shakes out.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that one bit, man. The only team that has home field advantage over you might be a team eliminated for sure.
Yeah, 100%. And again, that's if it were the Rams, would you feel that way? No,
Rams or Niners, I wouldn't feel that way.
Yeah,
honestly,
exactly.
Even if it was the Eagles, if the Eagles would have pulled off the 1 seed, I wouldn't feel like they'd be eliminated if they were playing better enough football to obtain the 1 seed. The Eagles are a team that scares you just because their roster is pretty deep, man.
On Monday, did you guys talk about fuck Chris Collinsworth? Did you guys talk about that? I didn't catch the whole show.
Kyle,
Good.
Kyle,
yes. Fuck Chris Collinsworth.
And then said how much he hated him.
Yeah. I just want to touch on the fact that this guy lit into Caleb Williams about missing a few throws that weren't as easy as he made them out to be, and he was really trying to shape the narrative around it. Brock Purdy threw a pick 6 on the first play of the game, and he didn't lay into him anywhere near to the extent, or at all for that matter, really, to the extent that he went at Caleb Williams for missing some throws where he had a lot of pressure in his face. Maybe he rolled out when he shouldn't have. I think he did on the one that was going to Duvernay. He rolled out, probably he flooded the pocket when he could have just stood in there and made the throw. But even then, you got 5 guys running at you and you're running across your body like that and throwing. He made it seem like it was some simple throw that Caleb missed. He did that consistently throughout the game, and those throws were nowhere near as simple as he tried to make them out to be.
He talked about, he compared the first overall pick to Mr. Irrelevant so much that he was judging those or evaluating each player on a much different scale, man.
Yeah,
much higher
for sure.
standards for Caleb Williams, because that's just the expectation when Brock Purdy's a quarterback who's been to a Super Bowl, got paid a lot of money, and the pressure is mounting, man. I mean, Brock Purdy needs to be under a fine microscope moving forward, and I think that's why he's playing his ass off, because it's time.
Yep.
It's time for Brock Purdy to be the guy he's been the last couple of weeks, for sure, man.
And he's been the guy that the Niners paid him to be, and that's why the Niners are really a scary team.
So, the pick sixes when Purdy throws them should be even probably more criticized to me than a guy like Caleb Williams in a new system who's now second in history of the NFL after 30 starts in the touchdown interception ratio category, man. So, these guys all do it, though. And it's not just Collinsworth. They're all guilty of it. Tom Brady seems to like Caleb a lot. Seems to be there at his defense.
Oh, he certainly does. Yeah. He certainly does, and he has a familiarity with Caleb Williams.
Yeah, but most of these guys I felt have been pretty critical of Caleb Williams, and unfairly so, just because, like you said, Dustin, it doesn't feel like they're ever doing that with the guy across the field. It felt feels like Caleb gets it more than the guy he's playing.
And in this particular game, Brandon, it felt like we were wrong about that quarterback bowl. We fucked up when we judged Brock Purdy too soon, or we fucked up when we judged Caleb Williams too soon, because both of those quarterbacks balled out. Brock Purdy made some amazing plays.
Brock
Caleb
Purdy's
Williams
just on a
made some
level
amazing plays.
Last couple of weeks here, man.
And when you talk about,
14 touchdowns in 3 games too.
And when you talk about what Bearsky mentioned in the chat earlier, continuity, the time within a system for Brock Purdy, he has just been in Shanahan's system his entire career. Caleb Williams just now, like you said, is in his first year of Ben Johnson's offense, and you see the progression, you see it getting better. But I'm of the opinion, based on what I saw, Caleb played out of his goddamn mind, and he didn't get enough credit for it from the guy who was
a lot of love. We gave Caleb a lot of love on Monday's show, man. That we did.
And I mean, he deserves it. He deserves it. Some of the throws he made in really big time situations to keep up with that team when your defense is not holding up its end of the bargain and keep finding ways to score. I honestly believed that throw was good, the last throw of the game, up until the time it hit the dirt. I thought the Bears were going to win that game. I thought the Bears had them exactly where they wanted them. The game was playing out exactly how I thought it would, and that was a done deal. I thought the Bears were going to win it. And, sometimes you come up short. Ozzie Trapillo missed a block on that last play. He just let the guy come right through to Caleb. And they only rushed 2 or 3, depending on how you evaluate that. There was just not a lot of. There shouldn't have been pressure on Caleb the way it was. I don't know. It was frustrating, man. The Bears should have had that game. They ran out of time. They just ran out of time. 10 seconds too short.
We talked about it a lot. And what I said on Monday, man, is. You hear
he did, Bearsky. He did. I pointed that out. Yeah.
You hear legendary NFL icons say, franchise elite quarterbacks are the guys. Not only are they multipliers, they make the guys around them better, but they're guys you win because of, not win with. I mean, you're looking back at Caleb's career, and it's like, and he's been doing that for some time. It feels like, I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, you're winning games because of Caleb Williams. He is definitely far, far improved from his rookie season. You can evaluate who he is under Ben Johnson from week 1 till now, but if you look at his rookie season and you compare who Caleb is this last few weeks to Caleb Williams we've watched, I mean, it's the month of December, Dustin. Well, now January, but I thought Caleb played his best football in the month of December. And Ben Johnson kept telling everybody that, and you kept reiterating Ben Johnson's preaching patience, and people kept like, oh, this figure and that
completion percentage and such and such.
And it's like, well, Ben told you this was going to take some time. He actually kind of told you exactly when he expects it to be better. And
Brandon, do you know what this chart is of? And it's from a guy who does really good work on X, SF Data
the NFL
Niners
drop percentage chart
since week 10. So okay.
That's very fine.
This is
print.
just, pretty recently, Bears are at 11.2% worse than the league. The highest drop percentage in the league in that time period. When Caleb, as you just pointed out, Brandon, is playing his best football. He is progressing and getting better. 370 yards lost to drop balls for Caleb Williams. That's your 4,000. I mean, now every receiver, your receivers aren't going to catch every ball. But when your percentage is that, I mean, the next worst is 9.2%. That's a 2% difference. The Baltimore Ravens. Caleb's progression has been there. His accuracy is getting better. And I mean, his guys got to help him out too. I mean, Luther Burden and Colston Loveland, I fucking love these guys. God love them. But like they had 2 huge drops on that final drive. And that was 2 plays where you lost time and didn't gain yards, and you should have.
We talked about that.
Big problem, man. You can't have those drops in those moments. Colston Loveland's got a first down, at least 10 yards. Luther Burden had a first down at the catch. Colston Loveland had some room to run when he dropped that ball. So, I mean, like, these drops are really impacting this offense and Caleb Williams in a negative way, and they got to clean that up, man. But it just kind of goes to show Caleb has been accurate with the ball. He has been putting the ball in the right place, and a lot of these times it's not the payoff on the back end isn't there, man. This is a rough stat. 11.2%.
And we can talk about the increase in his throwaway rate, because that's definitely increased.
Well, we talked about that and we dove deep into that. So, like,
Caleb's completion percentage has never been a major concern for me, Dustin. You know that. Me and you have said that both publicly on this show. I mean, it's just not if they're winning football games, especially at the hands of Caleb. I mean, his completion percentage is just not something I'm too focused on. And sure, you could say like, oh well, maybe it's the reason they lose games when they play good teams. Well, is that what it looked like to you? It looked like they lost on defense.
The defense could not hold up its end of the bargain.
Caleb Williams played a good enough game to win a football game, man. The defense just continuously let them down. So it's just,
and that's a concern going into this Sunday.
Oh, that's what my message was on Monday.
High-powered offense.
Well, and the playoffs. You're struggling with playoff quarterbacks, man. You've played 4. You've played Jordan Love twice. We'll call it once, okay? You played Jared Goff, though, who was a good quarterback. You played Brock Purdy. You played Jalen Hurts. You're 1-3 against these guys. Your defense got to be better, man. And not just depend on takeovers, because what's the one trend in all of these quarterbacks, Dustin, these playoff quarterbacks? These guys don't turn the ball over at a high rate. So you need to be better on defense at just getting off the field.
Yeah, and I mean the Bears have been really
slightly, man.
The Bears have been pretty solid on third downs in terms of their defense, but that's kind of fallen off now too.
Completely.
Yeah, Nashawn Wright was really bad in coverage. I mean, the front 4 was non-existent. Montez Sweat had his worst game as a Chicago Bear.
Was basically not even there.
TJ Edwards was too slow. I mean, a lot of concerning things with this defense, Brandon. Just really, it was tough to watch. And I mean, you could just see it was going to be that kind of game. And I mean, I don't know how much I put on coaching versus just the players aren't there. I mean, Austin Booker stood out in a positive way to me, and that was really about it. You know who else stood out in a positive way to me on the defense, who's now done for the season, was Noah Sewell. Sewell was having a damn good game before he tore his Achilles. He really was. Sacks are what needed. Bearski says sacks are what needed to be cleaned up this year, and the touch on screen passes wasn't there. Now it is. Sacks are way down to 23. He can work on completion percentage over the offseason. I don't even give a shit about the completion percentage, Bearski. I haven't. I mean, you can dink and dunk it down the field and have an awesome completion percentage, but you can't make up for that with what Caleb can do with the deep ball. I'll take 60%, and Caleb keeps hitting these deep balls, 3-4 times a game, and moving you down the fucking field.
It's like why a guard in the NBA has a much lower shooting percentage than a center, because they're taking deep shots. Like, it's just
and
natural.
They count for more points.
As Caleb's and Ben are hitting on 40% of those, they're worth taking, man. And it's gonna naturally drop. It's gonna naturally drop your numbers. That's just how it works.
And what the funny thing is that one of the biggest things that his critics would lean on, even going into this season, man, and at the start of this season, was his inaccuracy I do too, but I still don't give a shit. His inaccuracy on the deep ball, Brandon. His detractors, that was the main thing they pointed out last year. and it was a stat that it was a stat that backed it up. And going into this season, and at the first part of this season, they kept saying that until they couldn't say it anymore. His deep ball has been one of the best in the league. He's one of the best in the league at the deep ball, and you just can't substitute for that.
Dustin, and I didn't get to say this Monday, and I thought about it after the show ended. I truly hope, and I would imagine most Bears fans can see this. Has Caleb not been doing a phenomenal job on these deep balls at just putting it where a receiver can find it and get to, as opposed to trying to put it on the receiver? He's just
he's doing a little
place.
bit of both. Those two to DJ. Well, the one to DJ Moore in that Browns game was only where he was going to get it. The one to DJ Moore to end that Packers game was only where DJ was. It was on a.
I know DJ kind of chased it. He put it ahead of DJ, and DJ got to where it was. Man,
you gotta do that. But DJ, he knew where DJ was going.
That's my point, man. Is he's kind of letting these receivers, leading these receivers in order for them to kind of make their own play on the ball, which is what good quarterbacks do, man. That's what you do. You gotta try to let your receivers shine when you got good ones on your team, man.
Vizzo says, Dustin, why don't you think Jackson got any play time? Edmonds looked rusty. I think D-Jack was a lot sicker than people realized. For him to get 0 snaps in that game, especially when Sewell was playing and went down, that suggests to me that he just wasn't good to play. That's the only thing that makes sense to me. I think he was much more ill than they let on. I mean, he had that illness all week. That's my take on it, Vizzo. I think he was just not good enough to play. Otherwise, they would have played him. And then Bearski says, you should care about completion percentage. It matters a ton in the playoffs, a lot more than the regular season. You will need to improve on that if you want to be great. I want Caleb to be elite. Completion percentage needs to improve. We've seen quarterbacks without great completion percentage, succeed and win Super Bowls in the NFL.
I'm so willing to bet Bearski that if the Bears win some playoff games, they will do so with Caleb holding a low completion percentage. I can almost just promise that. It's not something that's going to change, I think, anytime soon. I think it's something you start to see next year.
It's something that will improve, and we do want it to improve.
Next season, I think it will, but I think the Bears are very capable of winning football games in the playoffs with a low completion percentage. That's just what this team's done. That is kind of everything the Bears have done all year, Dustin, they've done pretty consistently. I don't see a whole lot of change in how it is they win, the manner in which they do so.
But then Bearski brings up the eye test, Brandon, and when you're talking about the eye test with Caleb Williams over this last month, he looks accurate, and I believe he's making the throw when he lets it go in big time situations.
And he's
when the most is on the line, I 100% feel great about the ball that Caleb is letting go, and it's generally going to where it's supposed to go. They need to catch it when it gets there, and more often than not, they have been. But Caleb has been deadly accurate in big time spots for the last month,
and his awareness has been really good, man. And that's another thing people haven't really talked about. That's definitely improved. He went from 2 or 3 really bad grounding calls that even lost you a down and a timeout. He had remember that trifecta? It was a loss of a down, loss of yards, loss of a timeout. He made some really bad plays in regards to awareness. And then you see Sunday when they had that offsides where he threw that hard count and the Niners came too early. He knew he was fully aware of the fact that he had a free play, and he waited till things could escalate downfield and Colston Loveland had some room to run, and he made that pass, man.
And that hard count was a design.
Yeah,
and Caleb executed it perfectly, and that's not something that he's really been good at.
And then had the mental awareness to know he could throw a pick if he wants. He can do it. He needs to take a shot. This is the only free shot you ever get in the NFL, and he went for it. And
the thing about that ball, Brandon, that he threw to Colston Loveland is it wasn't a go get it ball.
Oh, it's perfect.
It was on a rope straight to him. It was barely in the air.
That wasn't even a floater.
It was a fucking laser.
That was incredible.
Yeah, it was.
That was my favorite pass of that game, to be honest with you, man. I know the Burden one was huge, but when he got out and he threw the ball up on that play because the flag had been thrown, and I knew he was aware of it, I was like, oh, he's just throwing a prayer. Before I saw it was on the receiving end, I was like, he's willing to throw a pick. He's just putting one in the end zone right now. But it was money. And Colston Loveland, dude, this is you drafted that guy number 10th overall because you see how he responds as a receiver when the scramble drill starts. You see the job this guy does when
Yeah.
Caleb gets out of the pocket at being like a receiver and just getting open in whatever way it takes, but also doing so in the same direction of the field that Caleb's headed. Loveland is more than I will hope for. Had hoped for. I
I
said these
got some
guys on
Loveland
Monday.
stuff.
Loveland is everything that you would have
Brent,
prayed
I
that he'd be.
texted during the game. If you're, I can't understand if you're a Bears fan now and you don't believe that the right decision was made and him being drafted over Tyler. I can't understand it. And I got some Loveland stuff I want to get into.
And that
But
Loveland is going to get so much better, man. He's still
yes,
so young
he's
and
so
raw. He
raw.
was a
He's
raw
so
product
raw.
in Michigan. Yeah.
He's so raw.
This
Yeah.
guy's going to be pretty special. You should
This
definitely be
point,
aware of that if you're a person who's watching this team consistently.
and we're going to get into him a little bit, man. But this point from Scottish Bear, it's a good one. He says, guys, look at when the Saints won the Super Bowl with DA as the DC. The statistics were nearly identical. The takeaways best in the league, and the bad nearly identical as the Bears. And John says
That's how they've won
I
games
wasn't
all
aware
year.
of that.
There's never really been a point where they've looked great this season. So
well, I'm more saying like when the Saints did that, like I mean, I wasn't aware that their defense was this bad because I mean, just for perspective, guys, I mean, Chicago is allowing 5 yards per rush still, 29th in the league. They're allowing 135 rushing yards per game. That's 28th in the league. Okay. In terms of opponents' total yards, 357. That's 27th in the league. Opponents' yards per play, 6. That's 29th in the league. I mean, they're decent on third down. They're 19th in the league, 40.45%. Fourth down, they're pretty solid, 47.83%. That's 9th in the league. And red zone, they're in the middle of the pack, 58.49. That's 18th in the league. They're doing a good job of keeping opponents out of the end zone, I guess, in terms of when they're in the red zone.
Until last week.
Yeah. I mean, but like just in terms
the
of
bend don't break didn't work last week.
they're allowing 66.8% completion percentage, Brandon. That's 26th in the league. Opponents' yards per pass, 7.6. That's 27th in the league.
Yeah, they're bottom 10 in every statistical category,
except for takeaways. Except for takeaways. And some of the red zone and third down stuff, they're middle of the pack. They're hanging in there. They find ways to make plays when it matters. And they got the stop against the Niners, Brandon. They got the stop that they needed. They did stand up for that one drive
and
to
they just
get
ran out of time,
to get the punt. Yep. And I mean, that was the thing that was concerning me on that drive. And Ben Johnson does this thing where he's like, I want to have the ball and you guys don't get it back. And I totally understand it because the Niners were running up and down the field on him. And teams in general, good offenses, run up and down the field on his defense because his defense is not good. So it makes sense. But at the same time, there was a little bit of a lack of urgency on that last drive. And that's a double-edged sword because it'll come back and bite you because you had the downs. You didn't have the time. When the clock ran out, you still had downs.
Sucks not losing the game on fourth down.
Yeah. So I mean, it's and yeah, I mean, Bearski, I thought the same thing. I thought Cole Kmet didn't sell that on that hook and ladder well enough when they did the lateral to DeAndre Swift. I thought DeAndre Swift could have potentially gotten out of bounds, but Cole Kmet could have sold it better and got a block in there. I mean, Ben Johnson dialed that play up, Brandon, to be the game winner. That was the go for the jugular. This is it. Nail in the coffin. You lose. And when they didn't get it, they weren't ready. This is a huge point that I've been making to you guys all week through our text. Like when Ben Johnson says, I was late getting the play in and we weren't aligned correctly. I don't know if he's just falling on the sword for his team. That makes no sense to me because when you go into that situation after a timeout, you better have 2 plays ready. A smart team, a prepared team has 2 plays ready. The quarterback and the offense knows what it is, and they know what to get into immediately if this does not go the way we want it to go. So something doesn't add up to me there, Brandon. Either Ben Johnson was unprepared, and that's a learning moment for him, or Ben Johnson had those guys prepared and they didn't execute because they thought they were going to score and they were just kind of shocked that they didn't. I don't know what happened there, but it was strange to me to hear Ben Johnson say that. And it was strange to me to see Colston Loveland on that last play. It makes sense in that way because Colston Loveland being lined up in line on that play made no sense to me at all either. He needs to be spread out wide with some room to maneuver on that last play to me.
Yeah, we talked about it. We thought, there was some major coaching woes at the end of that game, and it is a learning thing for Ben Johnson, I think. And Ben Johnson's proven to me to be a guy that'll learn. So
Bearski says pass rush, run defense, QB percentage, all things that need to improve. You're probably not going to repeat the turnovers at this rate. And I mean, especially as you said, going into the playoffs against good teams that protect the ball, that's going to be tougher to come by. And Scottish makes this point, and this is a really good point. Excluding the Eagles game, we have averaged about 35 points away from home. That second seed is so important. We need that home field advantage. I think it's 34.2 or something like that the Bears are giving up on the road, and 17.4 that they're giving up at home. The difference for your defense is the biggest deal for home field advantage for the Chicago Bears and why they need that number 2 seed. I agree with you 100%, Scottish. You cut your points allowed in half versus being on the road and at home.
Well, and I still think, we've been talking about this
What's up, Mikey?
for a while. We got to get into the Detroit game, but
thanks, Bearski.
I still think the way they won, the manner in which they won that Philadelphia game, Destin, it's not pretty. I know Ben Johnson doesn't love playing that way, but like they beat the shit out of the Eagles, and I just feel like the Bears haven't really repeated that game plan to a T yet. And I think when the playoffs come around, if you are at home in cold weather, like that's the kind of football this offensive line has proven they can play, and that's the kind of football that just wears teams out. I think you got to keep doing that, man. You got to control the
there's no doubt,
time
Brandon,
of possession. You got to do stuff slow it
down. If that game on Sunday was in Soldier Field, it would have gone very differently in terms of how the game flow, in terms of the amount of possessions, in terms just the offensive. They're out west, they're in Santa Clara, and those teams got up and down the field. If the Niners come to Chicago, it's a very different thing. I believe. I don't think, and as I said before, I believe Caleb Williams has a huge advantage in terms of throwing the football in the Chicago wind and the cold over any quarterback in the NFL. Any quarterback. I really do. And I think that makes a huge difference because like the Bears can actually
throw in any condition.
You saw them against the Browns in a fucking cold weather game. It was freezing in that game and just lighting them up with the passing game. You saw him against the Packers. Yep, exactly.
He put his hands in the warmer right after the throw. He was cold.
He can make throws in this weather that no other quarterback can make. So in terms of the defense,
especially Jared Goff.
Okay.
Jared Goff is not known for his ability to throw in cold.
I'm more talking playoff teams with that. And I mean, I guess we're getting you keep wanting to get back to this Detroit game. Where do you want to go? It's an important game in terms of we think the Bears should get this number 2 seed. But you brought up something on Monday, Brandon. It's just one more thing, actually. I saw you talking. I watched as much of the show as I could. But would you rather have the 3 seed and for that first matchup, just to get into the next round, have one of those West Coast teams coming to Chicago versus playing? I didn't think it got enough play when you brought it up, Brandon, personally, because it's a huge thing to me. It really makes a lot of sense. The Packers in Chicago, and I was talking with my brother about it. He was in town recently, and the other day we were talking about it. The Packers, it don't matter to them. The weather, that's the weather. That's the weather they play in.
Advantage over the Packers because of the weather.
But there's a huge advantage over a team like the 49ers or the Rams in Chicago. So that's the question, and it's kind of that's another double-edged sword thing. Like, I don't think you overthink it that much. You just go win games and you play who you need to play. The playoffs are the playoffs. But if you had to pick, like, I got Green Bay coming to Soldier Field, or I got San Francisco coming to Soldier Field, which would you prefer? Because that's the 2 seed and the 3 seed. That's the difference. That's how you get those matchups.
I mean, I'll say this: a playoff Mike Shanahan scares the shit out of me versus a playoff Matt LaFleur.
Okay, that's a fair point.
Shanahan's proven that he can get to the dance. So that worries me, man, regardless of, and Shanahan's played a majority of his playoff games at home because that Niners team has been a 1 or a 2 seed for majority of the time that he's been there. But like, he worries me. I do like the idea of a warm weather team coming here to Chicago, man, more than a team that's from the Midwest. But I don't know that I want it to be McVay or Shanahan.
Okay, so then, so it doesn't matter to you, and that's how
I think when you've played the Packers twice, and they're going to come to your house, is there any better advantage? You know this team inside and out.
But they know you just as well, Brandon. So that advantage works both ways.
But you've got to think that Ben can do a better job of figuring the Packers out than LaFleur can the Bears. I don't know.
Do you gotta think that? I'm not the biggest believer in
Who do
LaFleur.
you
All
think's
I'm
a better coach?
we did our rankings before the season, and we had Matt LaFleur as the lowest rated coach in the NFC North. We had Ben
I don't know.
Johnson second, I believe.
This is what I said. I don't care. As long as it comes through Chicago, I don't care. It could be the Niners. It can be the
So the
Packers.
2 seed is what matters to you. You get home field for as long as you
Yes,
can and
yes,
play the team that you
yes.
need to play and let the cards fall where they may.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at too. You're gonna have to beat good teams to win in the playoffs. Have the home field advantage. There's a lot of fans out there that would prefer to rest our starters and don't care about the 2 seed.
And if you play either one of those teams, Dustin, whether or not they
I don't
come to
agree.
Chicago, I think it's going to be a dogfight.
Yeah.
You know, because if the Niners, God forbid, have to rely on Christian McCaffrey because the weather sucks, you're in trouble anyways. There is no component of this team where it's like, oh, we'll just make that
Christian
one.
McCaffrey had by far his best game of the season against the Chicago Bears.
Well, and the Niners
it wasn't even
just
close. In terms of long runs, in terms of yards per carry, he's averaged like 5 yards per carry this season until he played them.
And he is who he is, man. He always has been. But the way that Brock Purdy's played, there's no element to that team that you can say, well, let's just make him beat us. It's like, okay, he's fucking gonna.
Yeah, he's the offensive player of the year, I think. He's a damn
McCaffrey, or if you say, hey, we'll stop McCaffrey, let's make Purdy beat us. Purdy's been pretty on fire. It's a lethal decision, man. You're taking a risk. I mean, it's just a tough team. But
I think anytime you start,
the Packers have this aura that every fan and familiar feels that they're always going to have the Bears number. They're our foe that the hump we can't get over. They're the Pistons of the Bulls in the late '80s. It's, you know what I mean? It's like, that's how people feel. So I don't think anybody wants to see the Packers. I don't think I don't feel that way, man. I feel like the Packers
I haven't felt that way.
I feel like the Packers are licking their wounds. They just allowed Derrick Henry to basically, I mean, that was one of the most historical games by an NFL player ever. Like, did you watch that?
To just run all over them. Yeah,
and have 4 touchdowns. Like, that's one for the books, man. So like, I don't think the Packers are in a very good place. You know who I do think is though? The Niners. They're in a scary fucking role. And the teams that are playing football like the Niners are, when they're in the playoffs, they're deadly, man. The teams that are playing football like the Packers,
that momentum carries with them right into
when the teams are playing like the Packers are right now.
The Packers might lose on Sunday to the Vikings.
I don't think, is it Malik Willis out?
They very well might lose.
I think they're playing their backup quarterback.
And go into these playoffs on a 3-game fucking losing streak. That's what the Packers might do.
But still missing some very important pieces, man.
And they're not coming back.
Parsons and Wyatt and Kraft, these guys are gone. They're a different team. Kraft and Parsons brought very different elements to both sides of the ball of that football team. They're gone now. So, I mean, it's just having the Packers come to Chicago while they're licking their wounds, I'm okay with it.
I'm of the opinion.
I'm confident. Okay.
I'm confident in the Chicago Bears team. Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams, yes, 100%. And I'm of the opinion if you try to get too cute with the playoff seeding and all that, it ends up biting you in the ass. Win games, beat the teams in front of you. You gotta have to beat good teams regardless. Get home field advantage because that's a huge deal for Chicago. Any team coming to Chicago is in for a fucking dogfight. And
there are Bears, definitely. We talked.
The Bears are better suited for it.
Kyle mentioned that I went and rewatched our show, and I caught Kyle. He mentioned home field advantage is important for every team in the NFL, and he's correct, 100%. But there are places that are just tough to play, man. And Chicago is definitely on that list, somewhere near the top side of it.
Yeah, and when you throw in the fact that Caleb Williams can cut through any air with his throws, and Cairo Santos is shown to be a wizard with the Chicago win with these field goals, and it's just, and the Bears run game has been the best in the league, since the bye. It just, all of the advantages lean towards Chicago. And then what Scott has pointed out, the Bears defense is allowing 17.4 points per game at home versus the 35 on the road. Just every advantage plays to Chicago. So yes, win the game, get the 2 seed, beat the Packers, move on, get that home field advantage for at least 2 games, maybe 3, Brandon, maybe 3. Relentless Mikey said, do you guys want to see Kyler back or just shut him down? If he's healthy, I want him back. If he's not, I don't. That's really what it is.
I suggested that they probably did what they did in order to have him for the playoffs. They shut him down already. You know what I mean? I think.
to try to make sure
hopes.
he was good
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
this moment.
So I think the Bears, Mikey, are kind of banking that he's good
he
to
will be
go
good,
because
but
that was the intent, I believe.
I wouldn't bet on it, Brandon. I don't know. It's been a rough year for Kyler, but I would love to see him back if he's healthy. And I think you're right. The Bears are trying to play the long game with him to where he can be there when it matters most. And if he can be and he can be healthy, then you want him out there. Scottish agrees with you, Brandon. He says, if we can repeat that Eagles performance in a few playoff games, heavy run game with time of possession, the D is hardly on the field to concede all those points and yards. Yeah, and I'm with you, man. The clock control, Caleb making a few big throws out of play action that kind of turned the game. That's the Bears' recipe for success. That's what has worked the best for them and when they have been their most dangerous and how they could play their complete
said it
game.
best. You're leaving your defense off the field for as much as
Let that offensive line control the game. Yes.
Which
100%.
and your defensive line has been really bad as of late. I mean, they're just getting bullied, man. So
what's up? It's Chicago, man. What up? How you doing? Thanks for being here.
What's up with Chicago?
I'm flattered. He was about to go to bed until he saw us, Brandon. Happy New Year. It's
Thanks
Chicago.
Thanks for hanging out, bud. Thanks for choosing to stay up.
Yeah,
it's
man.
Worth it, I promise.
Listen, I ran through the Bears' defensive stats. This Sunday, they're playing a really, regardless of anything, the shitty play calling and the issues that the Lions have had all season, this is a high-powered offense. We just saw Christian McCaffrey, like I said, have his best game of the season against the Chicago Bears. Christian McCaffrey has not averaged 4 yards per carry all season. He fucking dominated the Bears. I think he averaged over 5 yards per carry in that game. So, I mean, like, and you got Jahmyr Gibbs and that Detroit Lions offense coming to Chicago. The Bears want revenge, but this defense, if they play the way they did on Sunday, that's going to be a tough one. I'm not saying I expect that, Brandon. Let's not go there because they are a very different defense at home versus on the road. But it is my biggest concern in this game, Brandon.
Detroit just had 5 turnovers in a football game. I think this is going to be one of those games where the Bears defense takes the ball away at a really high rate, like an unreasonable rate, like 4 takeaways. I think it's going to be one of those football. And Jared Goff's in the winter cold. I like the Bears to take the ball away.
Yeah, Jared Goff outdoors versus Jared Goff outdoors in this kind of weather are two very different.
It's different.
Things.
Yeah, it's different. Yeah. And Jared Goff outdoors is already worse than Jared Goff indoors. So when you throw the weather on top of it, he's just been pretty historically bad, man. And this team is broken, Dustin. I watched that game against the Vikings.
Yeah, just pathetic. And a game that you needed to win and you lose to Brosmer.
They're just not good. And they're all on IR. And they're kind of hanging on by a thread in regards to belief, I think, even, which is bad. Because, Ben's gone and everybody's saying it and they're probably feeling it all the same. Like, how good is this team without the pieces they lost? I don't know. So, and you said, man, they've got some really good pieces on offense. They made a terrible decision as a play caller than the guy they hired. So, like, I said this on Monday's show, exactly what I thought was going to happen to this Lions team happened to this Lions team. When they made the hire they did at offensive coordinator.
Yeah, it's the worst case scenario.
They're paying the price for it. And if they get the right guy in their building, and I suggested on Monday's show, if you see a guy, Kyle said Mike McDaniel, but I don't think
he's not getting fired.
I think you'd see like a Brian Dable in a system like that do really well with that team. So because he likes to run the ball and he likes his quarterbacks to be pocket passers, I think that team would go pretty far if Dable was on. But
that's a strange.
They're broken now.
Dable's been all about the running quarterback for years.
Regardless of how well they've been in the past, and regardless of how good they might be in the future, if they correct the things that are wrong, the things are wrong, and they look like the Bears after the Fail Mary play. I mean, like, it just looks over, man. It looks over. They put the ball on the field on the turf 3 times in that game, right?
Goff fumbled a lot. Goff was under a lot of pressure that entire
Gibbs
game.
Fumbled. It was one of his only of the season. He dropped the ball. So, like, will he do that in a cold weather game? I don't know. So
it comes down to, can the Bears apply that kind of pressure to Goff that the Vikings did, Brent? And to do that, the Bears got to blitz. And Dennis Allen's got to be creative and have good timing with those blitzes, because that front four is not getting it done. Like I said earlier, man, Montez Sweat had the worst game I've seen him have as a Chicago Bear on Sunday. That entire front four was just ass, except for I'll take Austin Booker out of that.
They
But,
just
like,
you have a collective.
You got to get pressure on Jared Goff to create those kind of turnovers, Brandon. You have to. You've
have
seen
a
when teams have pressured Goff this year, he has been inaccurate and he has turned the ball over. If you don't pressure him, it could be a long day.
You currently have a collective group of pass rushers that are good complementary pieces to a team that's already got some really talented pass rushers. That's what I feel like. They're all B players, and that it's just not enough.
Yeah, the Bears are missing that really talented pass rusher.
Yeah, and it's just not enough because if they had that guy, these guys would be good. You know what I mean? Like if they had I don't want to
Max
say
Crosby?
Miles Garrett, yeah, but like a
Max
player like
Crosby?
a player like that. Imagine what Sweat and Booker would become, because those
Did
guys
you hear
like
that
those,
Albert
like Micah
Greer?
Parsons. It was proven guys in this Packers team. You see it during when the addition was made, and you see it when they lost it. A guy like that does make every player on the team, on the defense's job easier, which makes them better at it. So
Yeah, and
these
that's what
guys
Montez
are
Sweat.
multipliers. That's what they are.
That's what Bears fans wanted to say Montez Sweat was, and it's been made clear that that's not what he is. And
No,
I mean,
and
he's
even
had
when he was playing good football, he wasn't.
It wasn't that.
Yeah.
But did you hear that? Just a side note, because we're talking about it. Albert Breer floated out DJ Moore for a Max Crosby trade.
Yeah, we talked about it on Monday.
That would be okay, but I don't need to keep hearing about what you talked about on Monday. We're trying to talk about now.
They said Austin Booker, DJ Moore, and
no. Albert Breer was I just read this today on X. It was after Monday, I believe, that he said this. It was like earlier today.
Straight up.
Yeah. Like a DJ Moore for Max Crosby swap, basically.
They need a receiver, but I don't know if I think they'd want a first round pick from Max Crosby.
I mean, you would have to probably throw in a pick as well.
Need picks, man.
Would you do it if it was?
Yeah, of course.
I would do it in a heartbeat, man. I would, and I love DJ Moore. I would do that shit in a heartbeat because you got way more resources at the receiver position than you do at defensive end. And as you were just saying, you have complementary players. Yes, it is, and you have complementary players to that guy, but you don't have that guy. You need that guy for those complementary players to be what they are. You need that.
And I think it's worth saying, I believe that trade's unrealistic. So of course you say yes to it because I don't think the Raiders would ever settle for that little.
I mean, when you look at the way it's going, Brandon, we've seen this already play out in the last couple of years with these disenchanted players in the NFL. It's like the NBA syndrome is kind of creeping into the NFL. Max Crosby is not happy with the Raiders, and the Raiders are not happy with Max Crosby either. And they're going to try to find a way to figure it out. But that opens it up a little bit.
I thought the Raiders were the bad guys, but you come to find that they're not, man. Max Crosby was the problem because they shut him down. He got frustrated enough to leave the building. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's kind of I thought it was like we'll keep him healthy thing because the season's pretty much over here. It's in the bag. And that should be his choice. So I was like, oh, that's bullshit of the team. He had a surgery like 2 days ago. So, I mean,
either way, he wanted to keep playing.
To shut him down because he required a surgery. Like, your season's over, man. Team's not going anywhere. Your health should be more important than playing the season finale on a season that's busted.
That's lost
8 weeks ago, man. Like, you're eliminated.
Regardless of who's right or wrong, Brandon, it don't matter. There's a rift there, and Ryan Poles might be able to take advantage of it. Just something I read earlier today.
I still
just
think
throwing it out there.
That trade is awfully unbalanced. Receivers.
I don't know if we're giving DJ Moore enough credit because he's
a beast and they need one, man. But I think
he's a number one receiver.
I'm not saying that the Raiders wouldn't be interested in the player himself. I think they'd want more.
Well, but maybe it's DJ Moore and a third-round pick for Max Crosby.
Yeah, and of course, the answer is still yes.
Yes.
If it's DJ Moore and a second-round pick, the answer is still yes to me.
I mean,
we're talking about the potential that Austin Booker could be Max Crosby one day. How about you just go get Max Crosby? That'd be cool.
Yeah,
too.
And keep Austin Booker in the process because I don't want to get rid of Austin Booker.
No, because
I would if I had to.
In the chat, would you trade Booker and I forget what pick it was, what round for Crosby?
It's got to be a first.
I was like, And I was like, it'd be awfully strange to trade Booker and acquiring Crosby because you're kind of
Yeah.
putting yourself in a similar situation, a similar position. You know what I mean?
Not
Like
necessarily, because maybe
Booker,
Montez Sweat is better.
Booker,
I would make that trade in a heartbeat, Brandon.
Booker might be your future star at this position if you don't get a guy like Crosby, man. Booker's the best guy you got on at rushing the pass on this football team over the last couple of weeks. He just is.
I think he's
than
been the
Sweat.
best guy at rushing the passer all year. He just hasn't been healthy. Personally,
So-
I think Austin Booker's the best pass rusher on
So
this
if you
team.
lose Booker and gain Crosby, you're definitely better. But would you be better off losing Sweat and gaining a Crosby and having Booker and Sweat be your Crosby and Booker be your outside pieces next season?
Yeah, but I don't think that that's a trade the Raiders make. But I mean, again, we don't know shit, man. And Razzle says we need to get our max in the draft. People, we don't have money for high quality free agents. Do it in the draft, no matter how you have to do it. The draft is just not a guarantee, Razzle. And honestly, there's a lot of ways to work the books for these GMs, and there's a lot of options for the Bears in this offseason. They're gonna have a lot more cap than people realize. I guarantee it.
Razzle, the downside to being a good football team for once in our existence is our draft position's not looking like it's going to be a real.
Yeah,
I don't know what
high
you're
impact
gonna, I don't know
defensive
what you're
end
gonna get
in the late
in regards
20s.
to edge rushers.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're gonna get with.
I mean, they
with
can
the
be there.
24th pick or whatever it's gonna be,
Or 28th. There's just no guarantees. Max Crosby, you know what he is, so it's worth kicking the tires on if you're Ryan Poles, as far as I'm concerned. Chicago man loves DJ. Yeah, I love him too, man. He's a damn good player. And Razzle says it doesn't matter to me. Leave him where he is. I want a young defensive player for sure. And again, the only downside with those young guys is you just don't know what they're gonna be when you draft them. You know, so like you get when you're a team like the Bears who's showing that they can compete now, adding a player like Max Crosby could be that puts you over the top guy. The draft is a crapshoot. You don't know. Shorty in the building. What up, Shorty?
You expected Jervon Dexter to wreak havoc at the position he plays. He just hasn't become that guy. So you're taking a risk when you're drafting these players that you hope develop into better people. Like even Booker.
Nice, John.
I think there was some hope that Booker could potentially be like a first-round player.
I think he's a stud. Yes, that's how I feel. That's how I felt since
he had stuck around in college, that he might have been a first-round pick.
Yep.
And that's what you're hoping you were going to get when you were kind of plucking him early, thinking to yourself, we're ahead of it, you know? So that's what the hope is for a guy like, but he's not, you know, he looks like he's got the potential to be. He's not going to be there at any point this year. So yeah, Dustin, not only is it a long-term project for a lot of guys, you just don't always hit on them. That's just the reality.
Yeah.
And when you're saying things like, God, that guy, think about this, man. We do this every fan does this every year. Think about it. You're watching the draft and you're seeing these players and you're like, man, the Bears should draft that guy. He could be as good as Max Crosby.
Why not just get Max Crosby?
You know what I mean? Like the guy's fucking. So even if it's like, hey, it would take that pick that you're going to use on the guy you think could be like Crosby. That's what the Raiders want for Crosby. Why not just fucking, you know,
take the sure thing if you're
trade, man.
If you're not potentially 12-5 Chicago Bears about to go on a playoff run, like you don't consider it. But there's this conversation was being had in this offseason, Brandon, with Myles Garrett, and so many Bears fans just blew my mind, would not trade anything that they needed to get Myles Garrett. And that didn't make sense to me then, Brandon. And if you look at this team now and how little pass rush they can generate with the front four and how important that is in the NFL, imagine if they had made a trade for Myles Garrett.
In the season he's having,
what would this defense look like just adding Myles Garrett? You don't think about this shit. You just do it, and then you fucking figure it out.
And I suggested
fuck the cap, fuck the draft pick, fuck it all. That's how I
suggested Garrett had not yet been in his prime, because if you Googled like when a defensive end is in their prime, it's actually kind of late, and
it's like 27 to 30.
Yeah, it's surprisingly late in their career. So look at him now. I mean, the guy is just.
Imagine if that was on this Chicago Bears defense, and all those Bears fans didn't think the Bears were in a position to even add that guy because they weren't going to be competing.
But
They have
and that
11
was my
wins right
point.
now.
Is like he was going to be good next year too. Because
Yeah, he could
look
be
at the
a
way,
part.
look at the
He could be a
level.
part of your future as well
for
as your
4 or
present.
5 years, this guy
Yes.
might be playing at an elite level. So like, yeah, it hurts. It hurts to be at this position where you're a really good football team that's missing one really important element when the playoffs come around. Pass rush is more important than anything when the playoffs come around, man. It is.
Bizzo agrees with us. Draft is
It
a
is.
crapshoot.
Those
Crosby's a future
Giants
Hall of
teams that
Famer.
won Super Bowls against the Patriots, those teams got after Tom Brady. Those teams got after everybody.
When the
And that was-
Texans beat the fucking Bills earlier this year without CJ Stroud, it was because of a 4-man rush. That was
Yeah.
it. That's what
When-
wins
when-
out every time. A
when
4-man
Von
rush
Miller
where you
was-
don't have to blitz to get pressure wins out every time.
When Von Miller was playing at the best peak of his career, Denver went and won a fucking Super Bowl, man. These guys are just they're huge, and he was the player of the game, if you ask me, in that Super Bowl. I mean, he was the
Yep.
MVP. I don't know if Peyton Manning got, I don't know who it was, but
No,
That's
Peyton Manning
me.
had a shit game. I think he
Yeah.
did get the MVP, man.
yeah, and he should have, because I think he strip sacked twice. You need those guys for sure. So yeah, it hurts, and knowing that I don't know how available Myles Garrett was,
Oh,
but if he
stop
was,
it, Razzle.
you could use him on this football team now, because you are a
Razzle
Super Bowl
says
contender with him.
draft is going to be all defense. Develop these guys. What y'all are saying is you don't believe in the coaching staff, bro. That's not what we're saying, Razzle. That's not what we're saying at all. We believe in this coaching staff. We've talked about how the development will improve with this coaching staff since the
Razzle,
offseason.
you can't even make that
you
claim.
can't make that correlation.
You can't make that correlation because you claim, you accuse of us drinking the Kool-Aid all the time. Now you're saying we don't believe. Isn't Razzle the Kool-Aid guy?
Yeah, correct.
You're always
Yeah.
breaking through the walls saying, "Oh yeah, you guys drink the Kool-Aid." So like, it's like,
Settle down. Scottish says, hopefully, we love you, Razzle. Scottish says, hopefully we can find a real quality edge, a difference maker on that D line. And that's all I'm saying. That's all I was saying with the Myles Garrett conversation. That's all I'm saying now with the Max Crosby conversation. It is worth it because you see that is the one huge need that the Bears have. Pass rush. The front four is just
he's
not
at
where
an age where he's about to play some really quality football. I'm telling you that.
Yep. Well, we can get off that, Brandon. You brought up the Bears. We were talking about the Bears defense against this Lions offense, and I brought up the fact that pressure needs to be applied to Jared Goff in order for those mistakes that you're talking about to happen. In order for that to happen, you have to pressure Jared Goff. And that's a big concern of mine going into this game and any game that the Bears play, Brandon, is getting pressure on the quarterback. So do you see the Bears creating enough pressure to force Goff into mistakes?
Under one condition, Dustin. Dennis Allen has said this a lot, and I believe it to be true. It's really easy to get pressure if you don't get the ball ran down your throat. So if you stop,
they got two really good running backs.
Every team that has stopped, I have Gibbs in fantasy. Every time Gibbs had a bad week in fantasy, the Lions got their ass kicked.
Yeah.
So that's where it starts. And if you stop Gibbs and Montgomery, I would say stop Montgomery, but Montgomery's playing like a 15% of snap shares. Apparently, there's some rumors this guy just wants the hell out of Detroit, man. But I think if you stop the run game in its entirety, then you'll get some pressure on Jared Goff for sure. So that's where I'd start.
Make them one-dimensional, but herein lies the other issue. The Bears are allowing 5 yards per carry, 135 rushing yards per game. They're not good stopping the run. So do you see the Bears defense being able to stop this Lions offense? Do you think the cold impacts Jared Goff enough?
I still think they take the ball away an awful lot. I do.
Okay. All right. So
I can't
the
say
Bears defense steps up at
pressure.
home.
I can't say it's going to be because of anything. I just think Jared Goff's in the cold.
Not even a first, true.
The Bears at home are a tough team to play. Jared Goff's in the cold. He's just going to make mistakes, regardless if he's pressured or not. He's going to make mistakes. And Jared Goff,
is this Lions team done? Are they packing up and ready for the offseason? That's the other question.
They're definitely broken. I don't know if they've quit, but I think what's worse is even if they haven't, they still suck. So like is that any better than trying and not being good anyways? You know what I mean? Like
Razzle.
I don't think their coaching is using them in the appropriate way. I don't think they have much. I don't think the leadership's good in Detroit, man. I don't know what that says about Dan Campbell. I think the players I don't think they're utilized. I think you could have just emulated what Ben Johnson did because there's a lot of talent on that football team, and it shouldn't be going
And
the
there
way
were
it is.
times where they
So
were
shame
doing
on
that.
somebody. Yeah, and they've had games where they score 50+ points. They've had games where they can't score a touchdown. So it's like shame on someone, man. That team has
There
the
were
talent
times
to
where they
win.
were doing it, where they were replicating what Ben Johnson had done there. They were utilizing that offensive talent in a similar way, and that offense looked really unstoppable. If you remember, there was a point in this season where the Lions looked like the best team in football.
Yeah,
They
it
beat
was
the
it was
shit
like
out of
the
the
second
Ravens.
quarter of the season.
Yeah, they beat the shit out of the Ravens on a primetime game. They got so much pressure on Jared Goff. I mean, they got so much pressure on Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson couldn't do nothing, but that kind of became a trend this season with the Ravens. Lamar Jackson's been hurt and can't do shit. So, like, was that a facade? It was, obviously. The Lions are trying to go for 9 wins this Sunday just to be above 500, and they're out of the playoffs. But there was a time where because of that offense and because of the fact that they were getting some pressure on the quarterback, this Lions team looked like the best team in the league. They really did. So, I mean, it's been strange to watch how this offense has developed through the season. And as you pointed out, Brandon, if Jahmyr Gibbs ain't going off, this Lions offense don't have it. Jahmyr Gibbs in games, he'll get 3 touchdowns in a game and then he'll have 0. And that's a win and that's a loss.
And regardless of how bad the defense is, and they're bad, the Bears, that is, this football team is just overall a much better football team than the team that we played when we went to Detroit. This Bears team is.
Both teams are very different.
I can't say that I believe that the Detroit team we played in week 2 is. I think that was a better football team than the Detroit team we're going to play on Sunday.
Detroit has regressed.
And I think
Detroit has regressed since then.
The Bears have become a much better football team since that week 2 game. And I think
they're going in opposite directions.
We just went over it because you were talking about, like, you got to get pressure and that offense is scary and they got the pieces and Gibbs can run all over you. But remember, this Bears team has consistently done a fair job at home at keeping teams out of the end zone. So I think they they can keep the Lions to the late teens, low 20s, and the Bears can score points on this team that's on the defense is on IR. This Detroit defense is almost entirely on IR. Their entire secondary is on IR. So, like,
and their offensive.
This is a good game for Caleb Williams to finish
the Lions offensive line has been rough. And I mean, I was just thinking about this. Remember the Frank Ragnow was coming out of retirement thing, like he was going to come back for the home stretch. Isn't that kind of where it all fell apart for the Lions? He failed the physical. He wasn't able to come back. And then the Lions just kind of shit it's like you've been counting. Were they just waiting for Frank Ragnow to come back all season to, like, really put the finishing touches on this team? And then when that didn't happen,
they just nail in the casket. I don't know,
fell
man,
apart. But wasn't that weird? Don't those things kind of line up?
Well, and it happened pretty shortly after. It's about 3 weeks, I think, after they said that Dan Campbell was taking the play calling. It just got uglier and uglier and uglier, man.
Yeah, it's just been a season from hell for this Lions team. And it's like the Bears, if the Bears are the team that we believe that they are, Brandon, because we believe in this coaching staff, Razzle Dazzle, and that they develop these players, that's what we believe, then they should really just go take care of business on Sunday, Brandon. This is a team that's ready to.
That's what I believe is going to happen.
This is a team that's ready to pack it up. The Lions, I mean, as soon as you give them a reason to, I think they will. The Bears have a lot more to play for, as you said. You got to get a dub going into these playoffs. Don't go into the playoffs on a 2-game losing streak against the Niners and the Lions. That's not a good look. You know, you got to have some positive momentum going into these playoffs. Secure the number 2 seed
against the Niners. So if you hammer the Lions, you still look like a contender without a doubt.
Yeah, exactly. Then that still remains to be like the best loss of the season potentially, like that they had to that Niners team. A hard-fought game that came down to the last play, and they fell a yard short of that.
And the Packers game was a respectful loss. You hammered the Browns. You lost to the Packers on the final play of the game. You lost to the Niners on the final play of the game. If you go hammer the Lions, you look like a team that belongs in the playoffs for sure. Right now, the newest release, they were 6th in the power rankings. If you go smash this Lions team and kick them the fuck out of your house, dude, you are, as far as I'm concerned, going in the playoffs, especially in the NFC.
A power ranking, not the power ranking. What are the power rankings?
Yeah, I thought it was NFL. like
I,
that.
I,
Kind
I
of
don't
thought.
know.
But I don't. I don't.
I don't
I don't
know.
remember who this. It was a major source, man. But I don't remember who it was. But and the teams that were in front of them probably should have been. The Niners were fifth. I think the Jaguars were fourth. I don't remember, man. But the Patriots were first, I think. But this Bears team can prove still that they're still not believe they're still non-believers, man. They can still go prove that they're the same team they were before they lost to this 49ers team. They're gonna go finish their
It's
business and put this Lions team away and put them out of their misery, dude. Like
it's
that's what
not
they should do.
so much what other people think, Brandon. It's in that locker room. Like this Bears team needs confidence going into these playoffs. These
Yeah,
players
and
need
they
the
are.
confidence, right?
Yeah.
But a loss can shake that confidence. If you lose to the Niners on the road and then you come home and you lose to a Lions team that's not even in the playoffs, going into the playoffs, and then you potentially fall out of the number 2 spot into the number 3 spot, that can change things mentally for a team. This is as inconsequential as this game can be looked at as. You could rest your starters, the game don't matter. It matters an awful fucking lot.
That's what I
Because of
said. That's
right?
why I said even more so than the home seed advantage with being the number 2 seed. I think Ben would more importantly focus on not losing 2 games to finish the season and go into the playoffs.
Yeah, the Bears have not been in the
just don't
business of
you
losing
don't
2
want the
games in a
players
row.
you don't want the players themselves to allow the idea in their heads that maybe they're not, as good as some of the teams they're going to face in the playoffs. You want them to hold their heads high and think that they're the best team in the league when they're going to play the first wild card week. So
Chicago,
you're
man,
right.
wants
You're
to
right, man. When you lose to a team like the Lions to finish your
that can
season,
shake your confidence, bro.
yeah,
It can.
that's not
Chicago man wants to know where I got the sweater. This hoodie was a gift actually from my brother and his wife for Christmas. I think they said they got it from Fanatics. It's a starter hoodie, actually. It's pretty fucking sick. I like it a lot. But yeah, go to Fanatics. I think they got it out there. Just to answer your question, Chicago man. So yeah,
But Dustin,
important game, Brandon.
I do think the Bears offense is able to exploit this defense. I think outside of Hutchinson, their pass rush is graded pretty low. We saw that Niners pass rush really struggled. I mean, you knew the Bears were going to win there, and they did just as much as I thought they would. Bears offensive line destroyed that 49ers defensive front. So I think you might get a game pretty similar to that out of the Bears offensive line this week on Sunday. And I do think the offense is going to be able to put up a pretty substantial amount of points.
I can't shake the feeling though that they end up in another shootout that's down to the wire, Brandon.
No, I don't see it that way.
I can't shake that feeling. I feel like that's the kind of games that this team ends up in, no matter what. I don't feel like it. I know it. That's what we've seen. Besides when they've played really inferior opponents recently, like the Browns, they've played a tough stretch of the schedule. And make no mistake about it, as much as the Lions are having a rough season, they want the 9 wins, and they are a damn good team, Brandon. They still are a very talented team. I can't shake the feeling that this is a close game. It comes down to the final minutes, and the Bears potentially end up in another shootout. I can't shake that feeling.
I'm going to disagree with you. We've agreed for most of the season, so maybe this is necessary.
Razzle, I don't understand why you're so stuck on this, man. We loved the Bears draft. The Bears had one of the best offseason I've seen the Bears have in a long fucking time.
On offense.
Yeah, for sure. And they got to start addressing the defense. And I don't want the Bears to give up a first round pick, but if you can give up, some more inconsequential picks and find a way to pull a disenchanted player away from a shitty team, why not do that? It's not about not having faith in the.
If you could trade DJ Moore in a third, you're not doing that, Razzle?
Yeah, I don't understand. It's not about not having faith in this coaching staff. I got 100% faith in this coaching staff. It's the damn good coaching staff.
Find a way to pay him.
But keep in mind also when teams have success like the Bears are having, and coaches get spotlighted as much as they have along the coaching staff, like Al Harris and Antoine Randall and Rocher, and Rocher ain't going nowhere. I know that, but Declan Doyle, I mean, he's standing out in a positive way. Just in general, these guys get poached. They get promoted. You might not have Eric Bieniemy. You might not have the same coaching staff that you have right now next year. You'll still have Ben Johnson, that's for sure. And I trust Ben Johnson to hire the right guys, but there's no guarantees, Razzle. Even trading for Max Crosby is not a guarantee. but it's more of a guarantee than taking a shot on a first round pick, which, bust at a fucking like 50% rate. It's a much better guarantee than that. All I'm saying is, if you are a contender and you can compete in these games and you have a glaring need, why not try to address it in the most sure way possible? And you can limit the assets you give up, then I'm all for it. If it's multiple fucking important picks, I'm not with it.
Is there a better example of the impact it makes, Razzle, than Micah Parsons? This Packers team is winning football games at a high rate. They look lethal. They're third favorite in the Vegas odds. They're third favorite in the Vegas odds to win the Super Bowl. They lose Micah Parsons, and where are they now? I think they're eighth.
Guys like that make a big difference on a team that could be
and it's not even just. I don't even just want to throw the Vegas odds at it. They've lost games and they look different. They just allowed 41 points to a quarterback that's not even a starter. And if Micah Parsons is in that game, you got to believe that that's a little different, man. That game's not going the same way. If Micah Parsons is getting after a backup quarterback, that's a very different football game, I assure you. So
yeah, for sure.
It's guys like Max Crosby make a very big impact on the football players around them. That was the start of this whole conversation.
For sure, and everybody can have their opinions. I'm not sure.
No, I'm not mad at what Razzle's saying.
Why it's touching the nerves.
Razzle's saying, and I don't, Dustin. You keep saying, like, if you throw DJ Moore in a second round pick at the Raiders for Max Crosby, you can still draft a young edge rusher with your first round pick. That's not. You're not taking.
Yeah, you're not keep addressing the defense.
Yeah, you're not
the way this defense has looked all season. You continue. You need a rotation of guys that can keep coming in and going after the quarterback. You brought up that Giants team, Brandon. They had ballers, and when those guys sat out, they had really good players coming in behind them and still rushing the quarterback. It doesn't mean that you just give up the idea of drafting young talent and
drafting an edge in the first round.
Do both
and acquiring Crosby. You might have just solved your whole damn problem.
Yeah, you address it in the way that the Bears address their offensive line. So, like this, let's just talk about that for a second. Do you not trade for Joe Thuney? I mean, he's a veteran guy. Do you need to draft a guard and develop him, or do you do both? Do you trade for Joe Thuney? Do you trade for Jonah Jackson? Do you go in free agency and sign Dahlman, and then you draft Luke Newman and Ozzie Trapilo? I mean, come on. You attack the weakness in the strongest way possible, right? Doesn't that make sense?
And if
that's what the Bears did with the offensive line, and look what happened. It's vastly improved.
And if the first move you make before you even get to before you even get to the draft, the first move you make is acquiring Max Crosby, it's going to be a lot easier to fix that defensive line in the draft.
100%.
You only got to add one or two guys instead of three or four. You know what I mean? Because you got Shamar Turner coming back next season, who you already spent a pretty high pick on. So you draft one or two more guys and add a Max Crosby, your defensive line might be exactly where your offensive line is. And you get a tackle, you know what I mean? Like this, you could do some work to this defensive line, but Razzle, listen to this and tell me what you think about it. I don't know that you can flip this defensive line strictly through a draft. Ryan Poles kind of proved with the offensive line, it takes a lot of different avenues to exercise in order to fix something entirely. You have to get your left tackle and Trapilo in the draft, but you went and got you got Jonah Jackson and Joe Thuney in trades, but then you also signed a guy in free agency. So you went all different routes to fix what it was that you needed. That's the point
I was just making, Brandon.
Yeah, you're not going to do that.
Devoted a lot of assets.
You cannot fix this defensive line strictly in the draft.
It's not just a trade, Brandon. You're not going to fix it just trading for Max Crosby.
You will have to do many things to fix this line, and you can't do only one of any of them. So
you're going to have to devote a decent amount of assets to it across the board in order to impact it. And I mean, Razzle, it's nothing like your own, bro. Was Julius Peppers not a Bear when he was here? He wasn't drafted and developed by the Chicago Bears, but he was a damn good player for the Chicago Bears, and he was our own when he was here. I mean, that's the way the NFL
Jay
is.
Cutler was the best quarterback that ever played for the Bears before Caleb, and he was
I just want the best team possible. That's all. Yeah. And however you do that, that's how you do it. And as we pointed out with this offensive line, you went in a lot of directions in order to impact it, and you impacted it in a major way. And that's how you have to address weaknesses on your team. The Bears already laid out the template for it. Ryan Poles already laid out the template for it. It was trades, it was free agency, and it was draft. And look how it's paying off. It's all three components.
You have one of the best offensive lines in football.
Yes,
if you
correct.
want to do that to your defensive line, you
You're
will
gonna have to do multiple,
you will have to
make
improve that unit
Yes.
in a multitude of ways.
Yeah, correct. And J2K, and this is a fair point by J2K. He says, I think you guys are undervaluing what the Raiders are going to ask for. That could be very
No, we
true.
talked about that already. I don't know. J2K was a little earlier when this first came up. I think the Raiders would want more.
And then that could be very true. But I mean, you just never know with guys
That's
that
why I
don't
said
want to be
DJ
there.
Moore. That's why I said DJ Moore in a second, because the initial conversation was about Breer's posting DJ Moore for Max Crosby straight up. J2K, that was Albert Breer.
Yeah, no,
and
again, I didn't go into all the details of the Breer. I saw someone mention it, and it seemed to me that they were talking like a straight swap, basically. I don't know. All I'm saying is, if the potential is there for Max Crosby, I'm with it. And as we've laid out, you're going to have to attack it in multiple ways in order to fix it, as they did with the offensive line. I don't think that there's a better example of what we're saying than that.
Yeah, and then I don't think there's a better example of an impact the guy makes than Parsons this season. Because when he's there, you at a potential Super Bowl winning team, and when he's not, I don't know how many people take you seriously anymore. So like that's these guys. It's not just the addition of the player and the impact they make. We talked about this. It's the multiplying element that some of these guys have.
And Razzle, we had this conversation about Micah Parsons. I didn't see a world where the Cowboys were going to move on from Micah Parsons and just move him like that, and they did. And he didn't go to the Bears. He went to the Packers, our division rival, like the oldest rivalry in sports. Like, when those guys are available, you have to go look. You got to see. You got to at least do your due diligence and see what it would take and see if you're willing to part with that, because the impact that they can make is just too huge to ignore.
Max Crosby would be a phenomenal football player on this Bears defense, on this Dennis Allen defense. He would eat all day. He would probably have the best season of his career.
Jed's in here with us, and he agrees with you.
By Dennis Allen.
What's up, Jed? It's good to see you, man. Happy New Year. Thank you for being here, man. Thanks for checking in.
He could be a 17, 18 sack player if he was plugged into this defense, and I mean that sincerely. The guy could play the best.
Lethal, as Jed says. Yeah. And Razzle says, he also says Ben is taking over the draft. Let's see what him and Dennis do with it. I'm all for that too. Again,
you still have to draft.
You got to do both. You got to do all of it.
Free agency, you got Max Crosby, Razzle. If the Bears got Max Crosby and then did not address the pass rush in the draft,
I would be very disappointed.
I'd be pissed.
Yes.
I'd be pissed as a Bears fan. Shame on you.
You got to attack that
after knowing what it took to fix the offensive line and how important that was for your team success, winning in the trenches. You know that on this offseason, that is your defensive trenches that should be your only focus. If other things need to be fixed, you can do what you got to do to fix it while the season
goes on. It's ancillary to that. Yeah, you need the front four to be addressed. Yes.
On the defensive side of the football.
They did it on the offensive side of the ball in this last offseason. Now they got to do it on the defensive side of the ball. And that's going to take, you're going to explore every avenue on that. And like you said, Brandon, if the Bears don't do that, I will be upset. I will be very upset.
Yeah, and unfortunately, because they didn't do that, they addressed the offensive line and didn't address the defensive line, Dustin. That is definitely the weakness against this Detroit team. You've got to be able to get a little pressure on Jared Goff. I think because it's cold, he'll make some mistakes regardless, but it would do a whole lot of favors for that Bears secondary if you could get some pressure on a guy who's pretty darn accurate on intermediate throws. So
yeah, man.
Jahmyr Gibbs is terrifying, no matter what. If you're a 5 yards per carry team defensively, or if you're 3 yards per carry team defensively, Jahmyr Gibbs can just carve you up. So you got to contain that guy when he's got the ball in his hands. He can't give up big plays, man. But I do think this Bears team could handedly beat this Lions team. I do. I've said that before. I think they could.
Okay, let me say one thing, because the chat has been awesome, and Razzle, I love how engaged you are in this conversation.
Yeah, Razzle,
thank you for being here. Yeah, I mean, Razzle don't usually comment like this as much as he is, so I mean, obviously, it's an important topic, and I'm glad we're having these conversations. The chat has made it hard for us to kind of stay on track, but that's good, because what y'all are talking about, we want to talk about. So Jed, Razzle, J2K, Chicago man, Ron jumping in, asking, are the Bears resting their starters? Hell no, they are not. We are playing football. We are playing football on Sunday, and the Bears are going for it. Who else do we have? I saw Phil in here earlier. True Pilgrim, Scottish Bear, Shorty was in here. Bizzo Joe, one of our
Relentless
faves, man.
Mikey.
Yeah, thank y'all all for being here, man. If I miss somebody, I'm sorry. It's not intentional. But we
There
love you.
was I don't know who's
Hit
the
that like
first
button.
guy. Who was the first guy in here?
Oh yeah,
tonight?
Ted. Thank you. I'm playing games while I have you guys in the background. That's what I do with my favorite podcast. So that's a fucking huge compliment, Ted. Thank you. What games you playing? Sorry, Brandon. Go ahead.
Oh no, there was a guy from Monday's show. He was new Monday, and he was the first person in the chat tonight. I forgot his name. I was asking if you remembered it.
No, the first person in the chat tonight was Vizzo because it's either Vizzo or John. Always John
No,
S. I didn't shout out John
I
S.
assure you. But no, I was saying the pass rush against this
Yeah, no.
Lions team.
The first person was Vizzo Joe. This is his comment. The second person was Ted, who's playing Apex right now and watching us in the background. And John S. was our third. Then it was Phil. So I'm assured.
But there you go, bud.
Yeah.
You got me.
Well, wasn't trying to get you. I'm just saying.
Do you even want to keep talking about this Detroit game? I mean, there's like, you think it's going to be a shootout?
I think it's going to be a lot closer than you're saying. I don't think the Bears win this handily. I think they're in a tight game. It's a divisional game, man. These games are always tough.
Do you want to dissect it more? Like I think the Bears are going to run the ball successfully against this Detroit team.
No, I think that's doable. But real quick, let me just look at Detroit against the run because I think that's important. They're allowing 4.4 yards per rush. They're allowing 117 yards per game. And they're allowing 1 rushing touchdown per game. All right. So 22nd in the league in yards per rush allowed, 16th in the league in rushing yards allowed. Yeah. In terms of passing, they're allowing a 61.69% completion percentage, Brandon. That's 6th best in the league. Opponents yards per pass, 7.3. That's 24th in the league. Pass yards per game, 219. That's 20th in the league. I mean, and their opponent's interception thrown percentage, 2.3%. That's per game. So, I mean, like, they're decent across the board against the run and the pass. I mean,
before they suffered all the injuries, though.
Yeah, right now they're dealing with
season average.
They don't have their secondary out there.
Yeah.
So I mean, like this, as you said, this version of the Detroit Lions is nowhere near as good as that first version we saw, and this version of the Chicago Bears is a lot better than that version that Detroit saw in week 2. I think Detroit knows that. I think Detroit's coming to play. I think it's going to be a tight game.
And it's cold. This is the first cold weather game Jared Goff's playing in like 2 years, man.
Yeah,
He's
man.
Somehow gotten away. He's avoided all of his outdoor games were early in the season when it was warm.
And later in the season, they've been in the dome. Yeah, you're right.
He's like avoided this somehow. I don't know how this was manipulated the way that it has been, but it's worked out in his favor. And this is the first game he's going to see some cold weather in a while, and I can't help but think he's still the guy we think him to be when the weather's cold, because right now he's not playing his best football anyways. Like I said, I think the guy turned the ball over like 4 times last week. I don't remember what it was, man, but
that's what Vizzo says here as well. And J2K says Ben's going to outcoach Dan. He also says Ben is going to pass and run up the score. I like that. Phil says, I think it's going to be a high-scoring but close game. Bears win 34-27. That's kind of where I'm at, Phil. Just hard to count on this defense right now. And Vizzo agreeing with you. I think Goff turned the ball over 4 times against the Vikings. Jed says, I hope the Bears win, but it feels like a trap game to me. Bears are better, though, and a big win going into the playoffs will make a statement. That's what it comes down to for me and Brandon. That's kind of what we keep coming back to. Like, this game is so important, so much more important than like seeding or anything like that. It's more about that confidence for the Bears and making sure you go into the playoffs on a high note instead of on a 2-game losing streak. That you just can't do it. You can't do that. You can't go into these playoffs losing 2 in a row. Especially at home against the division rival for the last game against the team that's not in the playoffs.
If you finish in your division 3-3, that's admirable. I mean, it's respectful, because like people. The one thing I see.
J2K says it's a blowout.
One thing, that's what I think.
He's with you, yeah.
J2K, I think it is going to be a pretty ugly football game for the Lions. But, yeah, well, and I think that's important too, Dustin. I think, it's not college football where your strength of opponent is all that important. But, like, I think you should kind of prove to yourself that you can go out there and kick the shit out of a team.
We belong in the playoffs, and let's prove it.
Not just by winning, but, like, we're a much better
winning
football team.
convincingly. Yes,
We're a much better football team than this team that kind of looks like it's falling apart from the inside out, man. Like I would, like I said, I think this team's licking their wounds. I said this against the Packers team when you played them the second time and you won. I think you put them out of their misery. Honestly, I think you do. I think just the same as you did the Packers when they were starting to lose a lot of players. You put these guys out of their misery, and especially a team like the Lions because they're eliminated and they definitely have less to play for than the last few teams you've played this season, man. So like, I think this is the Browns were. It feels comparable to me. Like the Packers and Niners were really tough games. You played them respectfully. You won one on the final play of the game. You lost one on the final play of the game. This Lions team, the way they've played football, is a team that you go out there in your own house and you just kick them the fuck out.
Yeah, don't give them hope.
Yeah.
Just put them out of the game early.
Just go finish it off and put them out of their misery and let them be the guys smiling on the sideline in the third quarter when they're getting their ass kicked because they know they got a real long vacation on the way and they don't gotta care no more.
Brandon, we got some stuff in the chat that's popping off, and this is an important question, ahead. So I want to go to this. Jed and Ron both want to know: do we think Caleb breaks 4,000? He needs 270 yards to get it.
I said that I wanted this to be a topic tonight for sure because it's important. I think more than people think it is. Dustin, go ahead. What do you think?
I think it's more important to the Bears than Ben Johnson lets on. I mean, to an extent, I think it's important to Caleb for sure.
I think 100% correct.
And I think in that, even if it's not as important to Ben Johnson as I think it might be, as he's letting on, I think it's important to Caleb. So Ben Johnson's going to make it important in this game plan. And I think that they are going to throw the ball on this Lions defense. As you said, they don't have their two starting safeties that they would prefer to have. Arnold is out as well, right? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, like this Bears passing offense can get off, and I think Caleb can go for it. And I think they're going to go for it. I think he gets it. I think he gets it in this game. And I think that's something to celebrate as a Bears fan, man. The only team in the NFL that doesn't have a 4K passing, and it is important to us, and rightfully so. It symbolizes that the Bears have arrived into this new era of offense in the NFL that they've been so fucking far behind for so long, Brandon. It signifies that, and that's important. It is. So, yeah, I think it's going to be in their heads a little bit, especially if they play this game the way you think, Brandon, where it's not going to be that close. That's when you kind of run it up like J2K is saying, and you go for that fucking record. Once it becomes – because Ben called it a tertiary goal, which means third for anybody who doesn't – it's like the third goal that they're going to. So once those other two goals kind of get checked off in this game, they're going for it for sure.
And you got to hope that Ben's going to design it that way because he knows that just as well, Dustin. Like, just like the Browns game. Remember we talked about that, Dustin? Remember you said in that Browns game, Ben looked at it as an opportunity to let Caleb throw the ball, even though they were running the ball pretty well anyways against Cleveland. Remember that?
Yep. But Ben did that very intentionally.
They ran the ball well against Cleveland. They could have probably finished Cleveland off just running the ball. But he wanted Caleb to get that passing experience. As a learning experience to help Caleb. And I think you got to get a pretty comfortable lead, and you got to check those boxes you're talking about, and then you can let Caleb do it. And I think Ben's very aware of that. Like, these are the things we need to accomplish.
You think he's getting it?
And I want to, because I want Caleb to be able to start slinging it. You know what I mean?
And the other thing, Brandon, is like it takes that question off the table. Ben doesn't have to deal with those questions from the reporters next year. Are you going to be going for 4,000 yards? Like, because it does matter to us in Chicago, and it matters to the reporters, and the reporters know it matters to the fans. So that's why they ask the question.
To all the quarterbacks that have played here.
Yeah. So I mean, if
each one of them wanted to be the first, Dustin.
I think that's an important point to make. Like, Ben don't want to get asked that question again. He might just want to go get it just to not have to field that fucking question ever again. Just say, hey, it's out of the way. Who gives a shit? We're moving on. We got it done.
Caleb don't want to be asked after Sunday's game, how disappointed are you that you didn't hit the fourth? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, exactly.
He's going to get the bum questions, man. Like the woe is me stuff. Like,
how much did it mean to you, and how much does it hurt that you didn't get it?
Like, it's so like, And that's not stuff you want to ask before this playoffs start either. Like you want things to work on all cylinders, man. I feel
Yeah,
like you're
exactly.
playing
It's a
the best football.
distraction that just gets
Yeah.
out of the way. You don't have to worry about it. Now, regardless, going into the playoffs, Brandon, it's not a distraction because it's a regular season record, and like it doesn't matter anymore. But I think going forward, I think it's something that Ben don't want to deal with. So like he might have a little bit of motivation to just get it done and get it out of the way.
Yeah.
Do you think he gets it?
I do, man, because
It's going to be close.
I do
it's going
think
to be close one way or the other.
I do think it'll be by design. So yes, I think that he will get it.
And what's he away from Kramer's record? Like 130 yards or something like that?
Yeah, something he'll get.
136 yards.
Yeah, something he'll get. It's somewhere near there. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, Vizzo says even if he doesn't get 4K, he should still break Kramer's record. And I mean, like, okay, that don't really. I mean, it shows that Caleb is already the best quarterback in Bears history. When you talk about the touchdown interception ratio that you brought up earlier, Brandon, and his ability to come back in games and all those things, like it's just another notch on the belt for Caleb in that regard. Does it matter? Do I agree with Ben that it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things? Yes, 100%. Like in terms of this season, it should not be their focus, and I don't want it to be, Brandon. Win the fucking game. If you got to win the game running the ball 30 times and Caleb only throws for 120 yards and you win the game, I don't give a shit. But I think that they will. I think they will go for it, and I think they can attack this Lions pass D.
And I think the idea, if you're Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams, and something that you can hang your helmet on is like,
yes,
the expectation of yourself, I would imagine, moving forward, is that Caleb Williams is going to have a whole lot of 4,000-yard seasons in the future, right? So regardless if he hits it in the first year he's in Ben's system, I don't know how disappointed you can be because you know that number's coming frequently, consistently. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. And Ben made a good point. It's an arbitrary number.
4,000-yard thrower. As he progresses and develops as a player, he's going to be a 4,000-yard thrower.
Ben made the point that it's an arbitrary number. It's 4,000 yards. And he said there's a lot of quarterbacks on NFL teams that haven't hit 5,000 yards. The problem with that logic is there's only one team that doesn't have a 4,000-yard passer in the current NFL.
Yeah, no,
so it's not that arbitrary in that regard.
Yeah. And you want to get it. Like if Caleb wants to get it, because every quarterback that's played in Chicago naturally wants to be the first guy to get it. It's not even that Caleb's doing it, like, because it's an impressive statistic by every quarterback. Oh, you say that a lot about good quarterbacks. Like, dude, he threw 4,000 yards last year. But Caleb's the first and one of the oldest organizations in the sport.
And he's in his second year, first year in Ben Johnson's offense.
And I've said this before the season started, actually. Imagine the throw that he does it on in front of his home crowd. Imagine the throw that crosses that threshold. And they're gonna play that on ESPN. You know what I mean? It's a big deal, man. It's a big deal. And it'd be a really big moment for Caleb Williams. That's why I believe he will get
good
it
vibes
by design. Ben Johnson will. You mentioned both safeties are out. I think Ben is going to kind of, the way he played, the aggressive manner in which he played against that Niners team. I think he's going to have him kind of playing the same style of football, even if they're not throwing as much as they did, because he threw a lot in that game. I think it was like over 40 attempts, but he'll be throwing deep.
J2K says, are we going to get some interior pressure versus that Lions offensive line? I don't bank
Probably
on it.
Not.
I don't bank. I mean, Grady Jarrett has been playing better.
No,
Dexter has been pretty hit or miss. I mean, I don't bank on it. Yes, I if I had to give an answer, I would say no, and that's with a weak interior offensive line. That's the weakness of that O line. So I mean, that's where they have to exploit it. And if you get that and you get pressure right up in Goff's face, that's a pretty sure way to get yourself a win in this game, cause some chaos, and force those turnovers you're talking about. So I think that the Bears are going to be targeting that. Do they have the players to get it done? I don't know, J2K. I don't know.
Yeah, no,
they are terrible and injured. Yes, J2K, I agree. But this Bears interior D line is not good either.
Yeah, and every time I every time I texted you guys a few
Jed.
times, like, I think this could be a big game for Dexter. It just hasn't come, man. And
Yeah,
I
I've said that multiple times this year. I said that the first time they played the Lions because I knew that we knew then that Lions interior
Yeah.
offensive line was a weakness of this team.
just hasn't come to
And
fruition.
Dexter
Dex.
was a no-show in that game.
And I'm not
A
going to expect
fucking
to
no-show.
change. I'm not going to expect a change on the final game of this season. I mean, we pretty much know what we got here. So this interior defensive line hasn't really gotten pressure on any team this year. I don't believe that they're going to do so against the Lions all that much.
Okay. Do you want to do scores? Or you want to save that for Sunday? We should do scores, right?
Yeah, we always do scores and then ask if we change on Sunday, give an injury report.
I'm going to
By the
say
way,
third.
man, there are some DNPs, and I don't remember. There was 4 guys.
I got you right here, but
Rome is
let's
definitely
do it.
out.
Jonah Jackson, DNP with the illness. The illness is still running through this team, and Jonah Jackson's catching it on the back end. That's like me with my family, man. My wife and my daughters get it, and then I'm good for a week, and then I got it for a week after that once they're all good. Jonah Jackson's that this week. He's a DNP with the illness. Rome is not playing, and neither is Joe Tryon-Shoyinka. Hopefully Jonah Jackson gets something in tomorrow, and he's good to go. If not, we'll see some Luke Newman, man. That'll be interesting. I love me some Luke Newman.
No,
I feel pretty confident.
Luke Newman's on IR, I think.
No, Luke Newman they just brought him up last week.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. So I mean, I feel okay with that. So I mean, but yeah, that's your injury report. Nick McLeod limited. Okay, Ozzie limited. That's at least he's practicing. Josh Blackwell went full. Luther Burton went full. That's huge. And OZ with the illness, he's been full the last 2 days. I'm gonna say, guys, let me get myself back a little. I'm gonna say 34-24 Bears. That's where I'm going. I think it's a close game down to the wire, but the Bears kind of seal it at the end. But they're gonna be in the game throughout, and they're gonna make us sweat a little bit. But 34-24 Bears. That's where I'm going. I think the Lions' offense is able to put up some points against this Bears D, but just not enough. And the Bears are the better team, and they're going to show it on Sunday. They're going to go into the playoffs on a high note and take care of business at home. You got to do it. Take care of business at home. 34-24 Bears.
Justin, do you know the weather in this game?
I mean, I can look up the weather here. It's not going to be very much different there. Let's see. Sunday, 27 degrees, clear. Not much. That's, out here in the suburbs.
I'm going to say this game
not close to the lake. Not as close to the lake, but
I'm going to say this game is 37-19.
Oh, okay. Vizzo has Bears 34, Lions 24. You son of a bitch. I like you, Vizzo. I like it. We're on the same page. You said 37-19. Interesting. Okay. So we both got Bears wins. Both got the Bears scoring some points, and the Lions ending the season under 500. Season from hell from the Lions, man. Regardless of what happens.
And it's at its worst right now, I think. Don't you? Don't you think that the season from hell has really finished at its depth, at its deepest depths of hell? You know what I mean? Like everybody's gone now. They're all on IR. They know the season's done. Their coaches don't hold the same belief from the players. I feel like, Dustin. I could be wrong. I don't know. I don't. Do you feel that way? I think the coaching lost the players a little bit because of.
Because they don't have belief in the coaches don't have belief in the coaching. So how could the players? So yeah, I agree with you there. There was one thing that I want. Listen, I brought this stat up earlier. Bears again at home, Razzle, the defense giving up 17.4 points per game. That's 5th in the NFL. On the road, they're giving up 30.4, which is last in the league. So them being at home makes a big difference in terms of how this defense is going to perform. So I mean, that kind of lines up with Brandon's score. I got them getting a little more than what they're averaging giving up at home. So I mean, it's a huge difference. It's just a huge difference. So I think the Bears take care of business. The Lions put up some points and make it close and make it interesting, but the Bears are the better team and they come away with it. And that's what it is.
I think the Bears score a lot of points off of turnovers.
Yeah, and Jed, I agree with you. He says I might be giving Detroit too much credit, but that offense versus Bears defense, I can see them being in it. That's kind of how I feel. This Bears defense, it's not been great, but again, at home, very different.
I think the
Very
Bears'
different.
offense is going to score pretty consistently, but I think their defense is going to give them the ball a lot and remove possessions from Detroit. I think the
Brandon
Lions will turn the ball over.
and Ted says I believe the Bears can take it all the way. Am I crazy? I mean, no, I think we're all crazy, Ted. I think this is a crazy year. We don't know what's going to happen. There's no team that's established themselves, and the Bears certainly can. I agree with you,
it's more crazy to be the person that continues to say they can't.
Yeah, because like, what are you basing that off of? You have no evidence to base that off of. All the evidence is showing that the Bears can beat any team anytime they play them.
Well,
they can lose to them,
and you
but
were
they can beat them.
and you were the same person who was saying they can't win the NFC North. You're the same person that was saying they're not going to be a playoff team. You know what I mean? It's the same sentiment. No matter what they achieve, the next thing's still impossible. So
yeah, exactly, Brennan.
I think the Bears got their way to the dance, so or to the playoffs. So they can do anything.
Anything is possible, as Kevin Garnett
that's the
said.
benefit of guys. There have been seasons where the playoff team with the worst record won the Super Bowl. I mean, that's why you get to the playoffs, because you give yourself an opportunity to get to a Super Bowl.
Exactly.
If you're not in the playoffs, no chance. You know what I mean? So yeah, any one of these teams that's in the postseason can do something special. I don't know if the Panthers or Bucks, whoever wins that division, I don't know, but the Bears are certainly capable of continuing to do what they've been doing all season through the playoffs, if you ask me.
There was one stat I wanted to throw out about Caleb Williams that I saw on X. It's from Jonathan Wood. From weeks 1 through 11, Caleb Williams attempted 51 deep balls. That's third most in the NFL, but completed only 35% of them. That was 19th out of 25 qualified quarterbacks. From weeks 12 through 17, Caleb Williams has attempted 23 deep passes, Brandon. That's sixth most, and he's completed 61% of them. That's second out of 19 qualified quarterbacks. The improvement that Caleb Williams has had has directly correlated with this Bears team being really hard to beat. We have the quarterback that can make the throws in this weather. We have the coach that can draw it up and keep this team in games. We got a defense that makes plays opportunistically. This team can beat anyone, and they've improved. They're a much better team right now than they were just a few weeks ago.
And you know what, Ted? They're real. It was Ted who asked that, right? They're really good at home.
Mm-hmm.
They're really good at home. They're
just go get this number 2 seed. Go get this number 2
Yeah.
seed. Have the home field advantage for as long as possible.
And then win a Super Bowl.
Potentially throughout, because as Jed's saying here, Sam Darnold's twice as likely to collapse in the pressure of the playoffs. So if the Seahawks got that number 1 seed, and what if they lose the first game they play, the Bears could have home field throughout, as we talked about to start, Brandon. And I mean, and there was a couple other things, Brandon, I wanted to get to with this game, and just with Colston Loveland. Just you brought him up. He's been awesome. Here's one more thing I'll throw out here. This is from PFF. Highest touchdown drive percentage versus current playoff teams. This goes towards that Ted question. Rams are at 33.7%. Patriots at 33.3%. Bears at 30%. Bears are getting in the end zone against playoff teams. That matters. Those are your top 3 teams at getting touchdown drives against playoff teams. So that matters in that conversation as well, Brandon.
Yeah, their offense has reached a new plateau, if you ask me, Dustin.
Yep, and a big part of that has been Colston Loveland, Brandon.
Yeah, and
a big fucking part of it. And Luther Burden, 2.67 yards per route run for Luther Burden, third in the league behind Puka and Jackson Smith and Jigba. That's legit. That's a real thing.
Oh, he is. These players are very legit, and I think, your offense since that second half of the Packers game, whether it be the development of Caleb or, like you said, Dustin, just more you're getting more production from your rookie class here. But since the second half of that Packers game, they have taken a step forward. They have reached a new plateau, if you ask me. They're not playing 3 bad quarters and 1 great quarter. They're playing good football at least half of every game. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
This
and in that
offense.
Niners game, that offense played just a good
Just a
game
good
all the
game of
way
football,
through.
right? So
I mean,
all right,
they had
each
the field
week,
goal drive and
each
they had
week,
the first drive sputtered out, but
yeah, and so
yeah,
each week the Bears the Bears offense is playing, you know, better football for a longer duration of each game. And I don't know,
which is
I
what we've
think,
been asking for all year. Yeah.
yeah.
So I
So I
mean, you need
think,
a full 60 minutes for sure
and
to beat a
that's
playoff
what I
team.
meant when I said like the team that this Lions team's about to play is very different from the Bears team they played in week 2. So I
Oh,
don't
clearly.
know. Yeah.
I got some Loveland love, Brandon. I just want to throw out, and I'll just do it randomly. I mean, I guess there's context here because we're talking about the Bears offense. This is NFL EPA per target leaders in the NFL. Look at where Colston Loveland is. He's behind George Kittle, Stephon Diggs, Nakua, Pickens. There's Colston Loveland, 5th in EPA per targets at 0.666, right behind George Pickens and Puka Nakua. That's how good Loveland has been in terms of when he gets his opportunities, he's finding success. And that's been a huge part of this offense developing. Colston Loveland has been fucking awesome, man. He just shows up big when Caleb needs him the most. When Caleb needs a play, it seems like he's just getting more and more confident that Colston is a guy that's going to get it done for him. And he had the drop in that game that we talked about earlier. That was huge. But generally, this guy does not drop the ball. And when he gets targeted, the offense is successful. Exactly, Brandon. His first and only drop of the season. In that moment, of course, it happens that way. But he's just the Bears offense is successful when they target Colston Loveland. One more graphic for the Colston Loveland love, because I like to do this at least once a month. This is Tyler Warren, and we all remember that Colston Loveland was injured throughout the offseason and to start the season, had a rough start to the season.
Yeah, very little usage.
Yes, compared to Tyler Warren, who a lot of people were upset that Loveland was drafted over Warren. I was not one of them, and I still am not. If you look at this, 791 receiving yards for Warren, 622 for Loveland. Loveland's got the 5 touchdowns. Warren's got the 4. The yards per catch, 2 yards more per catch, Brandon. Look at the receptions. 48 for Loveland, and that's because of that usage to start the season and how behind he was. 71 for Warren. Look at the yards, though. Not that 622 to 791. 2 more yards per catch. There is a reason, and we had to trust Ben on it. That's why Ben wanted Loveland over Warren, because Loveland can do that. Loveland gets more yards after the catch. Loveland is a more explosive player, and they are finding him down the field more and more, Brandon. His targets are not these short little intermediate things anymore. They are going for big plays because he's creating the mismatch, and he can run like a fucking gazelle, and he's taller than everyone else. This is why Ben Johnson wanted Loveland over Warren, because of the big play ability, the receiver ability.
During the scramble drills, he responds like a receiver.
Oh, yeah, J2K.
He responds like a receiver during scrambles. You know what I mean? When Caleb needs help, like you said, he's starting to trust Loveland. What?
And Bowers, really.
Because Loveland finds a way to get open, and as stated earlier, Dustin, he tries to do it in the direction of the field that Caleb's heading. Loveland puts himself in a
pretty key to the scramble drill,
we talked about, like, didn't Ben Johnson say he's kind of like a quarterback? He kind of knows what every position on the field's job.
That was in the offseason,
on each play. He knows how to get open when things go bad, and that's really important on a team like the Bears, where Caleb's gonna extend a lot of plays. And Colston Loveland's been getting really fucking good at that, man. At like finding where he needs to be in order to get Caleb out of trouble. So yeah,
listen, I just wanted to give Loveland some love.
This guy is going to have a lot of yards next year.
And his stats are about where we projected him to start the season. I don't, if you remember, when before the season started, I said about 800 yards and 8 touchdowns. Yeah. And I mean, he is turning into that red zone target for Caleb. He is turning into exactly what Ben Johnson envisioned when he drafted him. It's just taking some time because of the injury and because you got Cole Kmet there. I mean, there's multiple different factors. The 2 tight end thing wasn't working to start the season. Ben realized that and fixed it, and these 2 tight ends now are making huge impacts on this game, right? On any game on this offense, for this offense. So I mean, I can't say enough. And the chat's with us. The chat's all over Loveland, and I just wanted to throw that out there because you were talking about this offense improving. And I think a huge part of it is that Loveland is such a hard guy to stop. and Caleb Williams is just becoming so comfortable with him, especially in big moments. When and as who said it? True Pilgrim, or who said that? Oh, Bizzo. They call him third and Colston because he is just dependable in there when the Bears offense needs it the most, man. He's just been so fucking impressive. What's up, Steve?
And you can't understate the value of Luther Burden either, man. I mean, it really, really like
fucking Luther
this
Burden.
This might be
God,
with
he's
some
so
bias. This might be with some bias, but he really does look like he could be one of the best receivers in the NFL.
He really does look like Antonio Brown. He really does. Yes.
He is able to do things to defenders. I mean, he just makes people look really stupid now.
That 3rd and 10 where he beat the cornerback to get the first down on that last drive, dude, where he just put him on skates.
Put the guy in a blender.
Yeah, man.
And he fell when he broke his ankles like a point guard. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm talking about. You're seeing something. Even if you're not a Bears fan, man, if you're just on the outside looking in, if you don't have a dog in the fight, if you're not a Packers fan, like
Dwayne,
you're seeing a player here who could potentially be. I would go as far as in a top 5 receiver in the NFL. The way that he handles the ball after he's got it in his hands, man, it's pretty remarkable.
Brandon, I've been saying since the offseason, if the Bears draft was only Colston Loveland and Luther Burden, I'm fucking happy. I'm good. Like you nailed that draft.
Now you got a starting left tackle at that, yeah.
And potentially a starting running. I mean, Kyle Monangai, let's not forget about him. And it's just amazing to see these guys. And I knew it would take some time, but to really start putting their mark on this offense and helping it go to that next level, the growth and development of Colston Loveland and Luther Burden is directly tied to the growth and development of Caleb Williams in this Bears offense. It just is. Their success, because you just knew once they started getting the ball in their hands, they were going to make plays. And it just makes life easier on a quarterback, man. And I there's just not enough good things to say about Luther Burden and Colston Loveland. We could go all night about that, man.
Well, no, and you saw in a game, with a high stakes game, a playoff environment, like with that Niners team, Luther Burden and Colston Loveland came up big in big moments. They were there for Caleb. They got separation. Caleb put the ball where it needed to be. So I mean, these guys are special, man.
Yeah,
these are rookies. These are rookies. You got to I mean, this offense between Caleb and Rome, and they're so young. It's really remarkable how good Ben Johnson, because Ben Johnson is getting a hold of these players with very little influence by anybody else. Caleb had the 1 year of shit. Rome had the 1 year of shit with these other coaches, but what Ben could make these guys between Colston Loveland, Rome Odunze, Luther Burden, and Caleb Williams in a few years from now, man, it could be the best thing in the NFL.
Dude, I mean, the standard is high. The expectations are high. They made these rookies earn it. And we knew that would be the case, and it's paying off when it matters most, and it's going to pay off in the playoffs too. You will see Colston Loveland and Luther Burden make an impact in the playoffs, big ones at that. A lot of people in the chat, J2K and True Pilgrim, saying Burden was their wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2. I had him ranked ahead of Ted McMillan in terms of how I looked at it. I mocked him to go to the Bears at 39, actually right before the draft. I wanted him on this team so badly, and just generally as Bears fans, man, we don't get that. We don't get like, oh, we want this guy. This guy is clearly that guy. Let's get that guy. And like the Bears go some crazy direction, and that it seems like the guys like that just don't end up on the Chicago Bears. I can't think of a guy like Luther Burden that's been on the Chicago Bears.
There's a lot of people today,
and they got him. It's a dream come true.
Yeah, and then
I did go to 4starchicagosports.com. Go pull up my mock draft. Luther Burden 39.
But once, yeah, he did actually mock draft Luther Burden. And then, Dustin, you think, well, first off, this is Ben Johnson's first draft, which is just remarkable. But you talked about how, like, it doesn't happen for you where you want the guy to be drafted, and then he is. Think about this. Ben Johnson did that thing you're talking about that the Bears have been known for pretty infamously doing their entire existence, going kind of, getting cute. Not zigging when everyone's zagging. They always make this strange pick where you're like, what? You know,
Well,
the
they still
Shane
gave us
the
some of
Sh-
that with Ruben Hippolyte this year.
well,
They
no, the
still
Shane McClellans of the world, but
kept the
like,
old flavor a
well,
little
no,
bit.
but Ben Johnson kind of did that with Colston Loveland.
Yeah,
I,
for
I think,
sure.
I think, I
And
think everybody wanted somebody else, and look at him.
the fact that Ben Johnson wanted him was enough for me, and I understood
And
it.
Ben
I
saw
understood
it.
exactly. I understood what he saw,
Ben's,
and Sean McVay saw it too, Brandon, because
but
Sean
yeah,
they wanted him
importantly,
as well.
Ben saw it when a lot of people didn't agree, right? I don't just mean fans. I don't just mean Bears fans. I mean college analysts, college scouts, NFL analysts, NFL commentators, NFL coaches, NFL GMs. Like Ben saw that, and there wasn't a whole lot of other teams seeing it the same way. So
But
Tyler Warren
we
was
talked
the
about the
guy.
fact that Sean McVay saw it that way too,
Yeah.
and that gave you some confidence as well as to what Loveland would turn into. It's just great to see it happening, to watch it developing and unfolding right in front of us, and how that is directly correlated to this offense just fucking taking off, man. Pilgrim, this is an important comment. We've given Poles credit, but he says, I have issues with Poles and how he operates, but we need to start giving him credit. He had a great draft. He didn't just have a great draft. He had a great fucking offseason. He had one of the best off seasons in the last
Look
20
what
years.
his team is. Poles can finally look back. Poles can finally smile, look at his critics, and say, "Shut the hell up." You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's over now, man. It's over. The criticism
now is the never give it back part.
Yeah.
Now it's the never give it back part.
Yeah. Now
That's
you just remain. You sustain the success you have. You make yourself competitive for the next.
Make yourself better.
Football.
Yeah.
And you make sure the two guys, Caleb and Ben, who you clearly know are the guy. As far as I'm concerned, I've seen enough. It's very
build
early,
around them,
and they're so far out of where they should be. So, like, I believe you've got a very good future ahead of you. And Ryan Poles is credible for that. For what?
He drafted Caleb. He made the trade that got them in position to draft Caleb. Then he drafted Caleb when everyone in Chicago seems like didn't want that. Then he goes and finds fucking Ben Johnson
by drafting Caleb. You know what I mean?
Well, not finds him, but yes, he convinced Ben Johnson that this was the place to be because he drafted Caleb. That's really what it comes down to.
That's what I'm saying. He enticed Ben Johnson with Caleb Williams.
No doubt, true.
So yeah, Ryan Poles has put what looks to me, guys, to be pretty sustainable success because you have the two pieces that matter most on a football team.
Mm-hmm. Well, honestly, it's offensive line, coach, quarterback. He gets an A, and he gets an A+ in those. Offensive line, coach, quarterback. To me, that's what it makes it run.
And he's done a lot of work on the secondary, so you can't say he didn't. You know what I mean? You drafted Brisker, you drafted Gordon, you drafted Tyreek Stevenson, you signed C.J. Gardner-Johnson, you signed Kevin Byard. You have put a lot into the secondary. It's the defensive guys. The pass rush is the one thing where you could say Ryan
wide
Poles
receiver too. Yeah.
Ryan Poles just
has missed in big ways. Yeah, Austin Booker. I mean, that's why we want Max Crosby and we want to draft defensive ends and defensive tackles and we want just free agents. Just keep going at it until you get it right. Just really attack that defensive line. Dwayne, he says he thought he could have built up the quarterback we had. I don't think anybody can, man, unfortunately. But it is what it is. We got Caleb. The future is bright. We're about to be in the playoffs. Yeah. And wide receiver too, J2K points out, yes, wide receiver is a very strong position in the locker room for the Chicago Bears.
The offense, to me, the offense is pretty taken care of. I think Trapilla was the future left tackle. I think the offense is pretty taken care of. And a lot of people are going to say you could still get better at the running back, sure.
Nope, I'm good. DeAndre Swift has played his best ball.
Well, the guys you have will clearly have shown you
get it done.
Do the job. Yeah. So
you're not going to get much better statistical production out of a running back than what you're getting right now out of these two guys.
No,
just
to me, you have the luxury of just attacking this defense.
That's all you need to think about in the offseason. Yes, 100%.
I think you're pretty good on offense, man. You just the guys, and especially since the guys who have on offense this year, we just talked about are very young. Next season, they'll all be much better. I don't think you need to add anything on offense because I think your offense is going to improve on its own.
Don't worry and because Caleb is going to improve and Caleb is going to make everyone better.
Improve.
Yes,
Burton's going to improve. And Trapillo's going to improve. It's just going to get better.
This is the math we've been talking about for over a year, Brandon. Like when you have that franchise quarterback, which we believe we did before he even was drafted. Like honestly, we did. But like when you have that guy, then you go focus on the defense because that quarterback can then bring everybody up around him. You know, just everyone gets better as that quarterback gets better and gets stronger within a consistent offense. and the offense ain't going nowhere either. Ben Johnson's offense is here to stay. That you are correct in my mind. The offense is set. Go attack the defense in a very strong way in this offseason. But again, we're kind of getting ahead of ourselves. We got the playoffs in front of us. I wanted and I want to go back a little bit, man, because I want to get to this. We've had a great conversation. I've enjoyed everything we talked about. The chat has been killer, man. But a year in review in terms of what we got wrong this NFL season, Brandon. I wanted to do that. I want to give you the floor to kind of throw it out there first. I thought this would be a good way to approach it. We did a mid-season, like what we were wrong about thing, but now it's done. We know. Let's wear the egg on our face. 2025 in review.
Well, my first one that I like to try to phase out of my own memory because it haunts me because I was very it's an apology, really, man, to Mike McDonald. When we did our coach rankings,
I got the coach rankings right here, actually.
I was well, no, that won't change. That won't do anything. That won't help you, Dustin, having the coach rankings. Because when we had them, I was desperately trying to convince you to put him pretty far down at the bottom, and you were
Yeah,
like,
and we ended up putting him at 24, and I was very
okay,
high
yeah.
on
So
him.
we did. So that
Yeah.
that was pretty heavily on me because you were making a pretty strong case that he should be far higher on the list, and I was really fucking wrong. I mean, the guy's got the number one seed in the NFC right now. So like,
With Sam Darnold, the
yeah.
quarterback who everyone thought
So
was
my
a flash in
apologies
the
to Mike
pan.
McDonald, the
Yeah.
head coach of the Seattle Seahawks, because he is awesome. That team is I think that team's well above achieved well above their expectations, and I think they're better. Their record's better than the talent they have because I think he does a really good job.
Well, that was very big of you, Brandon, and I appreciate your modesty in saying that. Yeah, I had the Seahawks in the playoffs. I didn't have them this good though. The Mike McDonald has become a
When you
better
made a
coach
pretty
than
strong case for McDonald, and
yeah.
he should be a coach of the year candidate, man. He should.
Yeah, he really should, and he should be getting more credit. And the other thing,
I haven't seen his name on those lists.
the other thing, man, in terms of what we're doing preseason, my assistant coach, the coordinator for coach of the year was Robert Saleh. That was my guy. But my second guy behind him was Kubiak, because Kubiak has been huge for that. They hired him as their offensive coordinator this year, and he has been awesome as well. That was a big part of why I felt so strongly about the Seahawks. And I knew that defense was going to be a top 5 defense, but that offense was going to be a lot better than people expected. But I still believe Darnold can make those mistakes, and I still believe that they're kind of one-dimensional if you shut down Jackson Smith and Jigba. So if they can't get the run game going, they have a hard time moving the ball. But yeah, Mike McDonald's had a damn good year. The Seahawks have had a damn good year. I'm with you.
Yeah, we have a coach who's 24th on our list who's got the number one seed in the NFC, man. That's on me because I definitely pushed for that. So definitely wrong there.
The guy that I should apologize to, or I was wrong about, at least it appears that way. We don't have a lot of sample size, but Cam Scatterbo, I was super down on this guy. I thought he was going to be a useless NFL running back. And I guess that could still happen. The guy drinks fucking Red Bull out of his cleats. He's ridiculously stupid, but he played really good football when he was playing, man. This guy was proving me wrong every week. I was kind of happy he got injured so I could stop getting the text about how wrong I was about Cam Scatterbo all season, because that would have been a rough one, man. The guy looked like a real running back, Brandon. Do you agree with that? Because I think we were both low on him.
I still think he's very much a
one-trick pony.
Part of a committee, like a two-back committee, maybe. I don't love Scatterbo being like a workhorse, man. I'll be honest. I think he's kind of like a Mike Allstott role.
So you think I'm a little?
He runs. He's not obviously not the same. It's not as good as Allstott was, man. But he runs with the same kind of style. He needs to be part of a two.
And True Pilgrim's kind of green. Am I a little premature with my apology here then, or with my wrong?
Me and you both said no, I wouldn't touch him in a draft. So yeah, we were wrong. Gotta own that. Like
seems that way, right?
He made an impact on that Giants team for sure.
He did.
He made a positive impact with that. The two rookies, Dart and Scatterbo, gave them hope for their season for a little bit. So no, yeah, he's better than we anticipated him to be. And I think next, man, the one thing we need to talk about, because I believed, I had an intuition, man, deeply in my heart. I believed this Lions team was not a good football team, and I strayed away from my intuition.
Yeah,
And
that's going to be in our resolutions.
yeah, and the things that I knew would happen with the hires they made kind of did, and we had them winning all four of us had them winning the division.
I
We
had
should
them
have
at
seen it.
11-6,
Should have seen it.
winning
Yeah,
the
and I had them
division.
at 10. I had them at 10 wins. I didn't believe they were gonna have a great season, but we should have known better. I feel like.
Listen, I'm with you on this one. This was one of mine as well. The Lions were a team that I thought the talent would overcome the coaching flaws that we both clearly pointed out in terms of the hire that they made at offensive coordinator, and losing a guy like Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn, who were both very and then not just that, Brandon, they lost key parts of their offensive line, in Zietler and Ragnow, and we just kind of ignored that, and that's part of that resolution too that we'll get to, but we should have seen this coming, and we did our best worst case scenarios, and we talked about a season from hell scenario for the Lions, and we painted that picture, and that's kind of how the season has gone. Yet we still picked them to win the division. So that, yeah, that's a big one that we got to wear, man.
Indeed.
What's my next one, man? Listen, this is the biggest one. I picked the Titans to win the AFC South, and that was really because I didn't want to pick the Texans because I didn't think they were going to be very good. So that's another one I got to wear. The Texans are 11-5 right now, and I'm trying to go 12-5. I was wrong about the Texans. I was wrong about the Titans. I really expected Cam Ward to have a Cam Newton type of rookie season. I think he's good. I don't think we're wrong on that. I think we both like Cam Ward, and I think he's really fucking good. But I knew how bad Callahan was as a coach. We had him ranked. Where do we have him ranked? 29th of coaches preseason is where we had him.
Yeah, we knew he was bad.
And I said that when I picked the Titans, but I thought Cam Ward could overcome it, and I thought that the offensive line was really good and they could figure it out, and I was way wrong. Titans are a bad football team.
Talented defense, man, but they're not good. Yeah, I was gonna, man. I feel like we should do more like whatever. A coach.
Do whatever you want to do, Brandon.
Yeah.
Do whatever you want to do.
Now I lost it. There's another coach that I wanted to talk about. Oh, dude, one team that I think for sure I was thinking about earlier today.
Are we gonna go Kellen Moore here?
No, Pete Carroll.
The Raiders.
I can't hold Pete Carroll. Nothing was going to turn that organization around this season, and I thought they were going to be a really
But Pete Carroll's not the guy.
I thought they were going to be competitive. I thought they were going to be a competitive team that floated around 500, but yeah, I don't know.
I had the Raiders at 6-11, Brandon.
Raiders team's about to blow it up. Yeah, I think
I had them. Their over under was 7.5. I had them under their under. I expected them to be competitive though, and they've been just bad.
Yeah,
they've been bad.
And
Pete Carroll is past it, man. He ain't got it no more. Yeah, he don't got it no
more. They need to blow it up.
And there was the whole Pete Carroll potential to the Bears, and he was third or fourth on a lot of our list in terms of head coaching candidates, and we were wrong on that too, because Pete Carroll, it seems like he has just lost his fastball. And what would you expect when you're 80 years old and you got to coach a fucking professional football team? It's not working out for Pete Carroll. It didn't work out for Bill Belichick at North Carolina. These guys, eventually it does get past you, and it seems like.
Oh, dude, I forgot. I remembered my coach of the year prediction before the season.
I can't wait to get to mine. Yours was Todd Bowles.
He needs to be fired. He needs to be fired.
Well, this is funny because my coach of the year projection was Raheem Morris. Todd Bowles ain't going to be
Morris
fired.
Is finishing on a really good note.
Yeah, he is. They could
still
on
a 4-game win streak right now. So
and that team keeps playing, So but at the end of the day, I picked the Falcons to win the NFC South. And again, with 9 wins, I had 9 wins for them, 9 wins for the Bucks. I didn't expect any team to be really good out of that division, but I thought Raheem Morris would get that Falcons team to what did I have? I can just tell you right now. I had the Falcons at 10-7 and winning the division. Sorry. So thusly I picked Raheem Morris to win coach of the year, and that's not happening. So I'll wear that one. I think we both got Kellen Moore and Tyler Shuck here, right? Kellen
Yeah.
Moore is designing an offense that Tyler Shuck can excel in. I didn't expect Tyler Shuck to be any good at all. I thought he would suck just from the jump. I just bad, and he was bad to start, but he's figuring it out, and he's looking like a really good quarterback. Brandon, I could not have been more wrong about Tyler Shuck.
Yeah, no, like I was talking about that earlier this week, man.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
did. True.
it's not just like and they've played some bad football teams, so it's not just, but it's not just like the Saints have just beaten some really bad football teams. No, a rookie has, and he's done so by playing really efficient football, man.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean like high completion percentage, low turnover rate kind of football.
And
That
big plays,
implies,
Brandon, and big plays, not like
yeah,
just dink and dunk
and
shit.
that implies to me that when the Saints team gets better in regards to their roster, that kid's going to be good pretty early, man. Like as soon as middle of next season, he might just be shredding shit, dude.
And I didn't
He's
expect Kellen
he's
Moore to
averaging
be.
almost 300 yards a game right now, guys. I don't know if you paid attention to
Yeah.
Shuck, but he's playing much better than a rookie quarterback on a team that doesn't have much talent should be playing. I'll say that.
And I guess the thing that got Kellen Moore hired is the thing that's got Shuck playing well right now. So it makes sense. Kellen Moore's a good offensive coordinator. I don't know. I don't expect him to be a good head coach.
Well, and he
It's
needs
not.
some running backs too. Imagine
But
when
the
that team,
Saints
you know
got
what I mean? That
6
team
wins
needs to
right
get
now.
better.
Yeah, they don't have a lot of talent. So like what he's doing with that team right now is impressive to me because there's just not a lot
He
of
likes
talent
to
on that
run the
team.
ball. He was on that Eagles team with Saquon Barkley when they won the Super. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
He's not even coaching his style of offense because he doesn't have the talent to. And imagine what a quarterback like Shuck might thrive if that team develops some running game and gets some quality running backs there, man. Yeah, no, Shuck looks like a good player. We were both wrong on that.
Yeah, man. I mean, what else? What I mean, the Ravens, I had them at 13-4.
The
Like
Bengals, yeah, that
the
division, we were just kind of that
we
division
had the
wasn't good.
we all had the
The division
Ravens,
was
the Bengals, the Steelers, and the Browns. I actually had the Steelers at 10 wins. I thought the Steelers would be.
the division was terrible. We thought that was one of the stronger divisions
It's
in
been
football.
it's been awful, and
Yeah.
and the Saint and the Ravens and the Steelers will be playing for that division on Sunday night, and the
And
winner is going
whoever
to have
wins
9 wins.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's-
yeah,
yes.
not even double-digit wins. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So
we were wrong on
we
that.
were wrong about the division, Dustin. That was one of our
Yep.
biggest misses. I think we called the AFC North the third best division. We called the AFC West the first.
I had
Okay.
the AFC West at 44, the AFC North at 36 wins total, and that was the top two. The NFC North at 34 total.
Yeah. I think I had the NFC North and AFC West first and second, but the NFC or AFC North was definitely a division we all projected was going to be a good one, man. And they were bad. I mean, like you just said, they actually are they going to have the lowest winning record, the worst record by any team that won a division in the NFL?
You got the NFC South. That's potentially worse, but it's close. It's close. The NFC South, I think
Could be
the
10
winner could
wins.
be 8. The Bucks could be 8-9 and win the NFC South, right? Isn't that accurate? Let's see.
Is it 8 and 9?
Let's see here.
Either one of them's got to be 8 and 9, then, right?
Well, the Panthers are 8-8, and the Bucks are 7-9. Yes,
Yeah,
the winner of this
8 and 9.
NFC South is going to be 8-9.
So yeah, the AFC. We knew that one was going to be bad. We knew that one was going to be bad. Well, actually, I thought the Bucks were going to be a much better team, but the AFC North being as bad as they are, that was a major miss. Major miss. That whole division was terrible.
This and Ted is pointing out. He says didn't expect the Jags to be that good this year. I had the Jaguars with 5 wins, 5-12. Go ahead and invert that record. The Jaguars are going to be 12-5 potentially, right? Like I mean, what the Jaguars are? At least 12-5. They could be 13-4.
Yeah.
That was my biggest miss. Yes, Ted, thank you. That's the one I was gonna forget if you didn't say that. The Jaguars,
You know
I was the lowest of all 4 of us on the Jaguars. Not like anybody was super high on the Jaguars. I am shocked that Liam Cohen has turned that team around.
Yeah, man. So I guess let's dive into our resolutions because that is well. First off, just want to say, man, year in review, and it's not a year for 4 stars, but it's another
up, Frank?
NFL. it's an NFL season really in review. The chat has been fucking awesome, man.
Yeah, the chat has been killing it this
During the
whole
course
time.
of this NFL season, guys, we wanted to see really how this thing, is it something that just dead ends and do we keep this shit running? But you guys obviously, especially over the course of the season, when our pregame shows, our postgame shows, our morning shows, all that stuff.
Our late night
Guys,
shows. This is a morning show now. It's almost 2:00 in the morning.
You guys have always been there, and that's it makes it fun. It makes it fun. It really does.
It's the only reason to keep doing it. Guys like Jed and Ted and Razzle and Bizzo and Dwayne was in here, and I mean everybody. I mean, True Pilgrim. You guys. I mean, Steve knows the policy. Packers fan. We get to connect with fans of other teams in the division, which is really cool, man. I mean, it's J2K, big supporter, Shorty over, and just everybody, man, and everybody on here, like everybody does their own thing too. Like a lot of people on here do their own pods, and we appreciate the work that everybody puts in. But like, you guys make this shit easy, honestly. I couldn't say it another way. Like you're right, Brandon. If you look back at 2025 in terms of this podcast, the stars of it is the people that actually tune in and watch and give us comments to work off of, and just this show tonight is a great example because the chats just really got us going in a lot of different directions, and the conversation was fun and interesting, and that's because of you guys, man. So I don't know how that plays into a resolution, but in terms of just the year in review, you guys are superstars.
Well, no, just the year in review, because these guys throughout the NFL season, we've had the support, we've had people to converse with. You know what I mean? It's
guys like John S. He says you guys are awesome and this show rocks. Show of the year. Fuck yeah, John.
Thanks, John. We should show of the year because it's only one day.
Best show of the year. Well, it's 2 days now, Brandon.
There's been a lot of other podcasts in the year today. So
well, shit, man. If we're doing the, I mean, I had a
resolution. I want to say this, man.
No, real quick. I just want to say this. I had a baby this year, damn near 40. It's been a lot of fucking fun. She's beautiful. She's amazing. She's been on the show with me.
Congratulations.
My beautiful wife, my family growing, and it's been an awesome year. I mean, that career's doing well, and I mean, this pod's been fun, man. The bare minimum. I love doing this with you, Brandon. You know, my guy. We go way back. So like, just looking back on the year, I've had a lot of fun doing a lot of different things, and just want to shout out to the fact that my baby is now in the second year that she's been out of the womb alive in 2026. So that's pretty exciting. She's growing. It's been a lot of fun to watch her grow, and like, not a lot of sleep.
Healthy too.
But that's okay, man. Yeah, no, she's fucking awesome.
That's your blessings.
John, hold on. He says for all of 2025, channel of the year, if you will.
John, you're the shit. Yeah, no, I kind of figured you. I was getting a laugh at our own expense.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate you, man. We do appreciate you. Much love, man. Definitely keep coming back. We appreciate you guys. I want to start with the Bears in my New Year's resolution, because I did something in the off season, and I take responsibility for my own actions. It felt coerced, but like, I kept saying, and I said it a few times on the show in the off season, shouldn't we believe if Ben Johnson's like the guy, we're hiring the right guy, we're finally getting one of those coaches that changes cultures and organizations. And Caleb's in the second year of his career, and he's a franchise quarterback on a 4-year deal. You want those guys to start playing better football quickly. We kept saying this stuff like, man, they're just not going to be. I mean, it's not a Super Bowl team. I mean, we're not talking about a Super Bowl team. We're like, and we all gave our records, and it's like, well, they're not going to, it's not going to be 11, 12. Like, I just can't allow myself. Don't allow myself to, because I felt like we kept asking who's going to be the division that goes worst to first, the team that does that in a division. And I was thinking to myself, why can't it be the fucking Bears? Why can't it be because I love Caleb Williams. I love Caleb Williams, and we saw early.
I believe in Caleb Williams.
And Dustin, you saw in the offseason, you did it more probably than anyone, how impressed and how quickly you turned around. Like, not quickly because you liked Ben Johnson a lot, but how you were like, he's the guy, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think
right off the bat,
you said that with me with him being here for like 2 weeks, you were like, this guy is the leader that we weren't sure of yet because he'd never done it before.
Correct. Yeah, and we so your point is we knew that going into this season.
Yeah,
We
we
knew
did.
that the offensive line
absolutely
was
did.
improved. We knew we had the quarterback in Caleb Williams. It's just like it's not supposed to happen that fast, so don't get too far ahead of yourself. But fuck it, why not? That your New Year's resolution is like, why not have hope? You know,
Well,
why not?
And if you believe Ben is the guy and Caleb's the guy, the NFL is not unknown for this happening. You know what I mean? For an organization,
This is
These
across the board. This
teams
is
come
my
out of nowhere
yeah, man.
and they play good football.
But
So,
it
like,
didn't come out of nowhere, and that's kind of what we got to dive
yeah, no,
into
we
because
knew
that
we know where it came from because we were saying it was there.
this is the New Year's resolution. This is my NFL fan, resolution in terms of how I analyze football going into next season. Because what you just said is very true. It's and this is how I feel, and it just gets cemented more and more every year I watch football. It's coach, quarterback, offensive line. The Bears had the quarterback. We knew he was going to progress. The Bears had the coach. They went and signed Ben Johnson, and he showed it immediately. And they drastically improved the offensive line. We kept saying that over and over again, but yet I wouldn't let myself just pick the Bears to have. I picked them at 8 wins, 8 and 9. This will be a good year. It's a building year. They're gonna lay the foundation for what's gonna be in the future.
We kept saying we should be real, like we should feel good about an 8 wins, 9 wins. You know, I mean, after 5 wins, you were kind of comparing it to how bad they were. That's how.
Yeah, but you So my New Year's resolution in that regard is like, don't discount coaching. It is the most important thing. Period. End of story. I picked the Chargers to be really good this year because of Jim Harbaugh, and they had all kinds of injuries decimated. They're still going to the playoffs. Kyle Shanahan, I picked the 49ers to go to the playoffs and go to the Super Bowl, actually. And they were decimated by injuries. Kyle Shanahan has this team competing for the number 1 seed in the NFC on Saturday. Ben Johnson is in that level. Sean McVay, I doubted the Rams because I just didn't know about Matt.
We're going to be pretty damn good.
But I doubted the Rams myself. But Sean McVay is one of the best coaches in football, and Matthew Stafford is still there, and that offensive line is still good. Coach, quarterback, offensive line, don't discount those things when you're looking forward at an NFL season. That's my biggest one. That's the one I keep thinking about, Brandon. It's like, why would I look past that? I picked the Titans to win the fucking AFC South. I knew they had one of the worst coaches in the league. That was dumb. I can't let myself do that again this year. Coaching is the most important thing. Do not discount it. I'm with you.
Well, since you worded it like coaching, Matt, my next would be situations matter to rookies more than they probably ever have in the NFL today. And as good as I think Cam Ward is and was in this draft, he was drafted.
It wasn't shown on the field.
Terrible situation.
Yeah. Like Caleb Williams was last year.
It's going to take a lot of years for Cam Ward to probably show you who he actually is, because that team just needs so much help. And then,
well, now you're kind of fucking up our resolution already, Brandon, because you don't know who their coach is going to be. Like we thought the same. Caleb Williams was in the same situation last year, Brandon. Great fucking quarterback, awesome prospect, drafted into a shitty situation with a terrible head
in regards
coach.
to the team needing a couple of years.
You just talked about how you just said it's going to take many years. They could sign the right coach this offseason, and it completely flips for Cam Ward.
I don't know. The offensive line still needs a helpful lot.
Their offensive line is pretty good, actually, if you go look at them. That was one of the reasons I picked.
No, dude, that is incorrect. Cam Ward has been sacked, I think, the most in the NFL.
Yeah, but he also runs around an awful lot and holds the ball. I mean, listen, again, a lot of similarities, Brandon, with Caleb Williams last year and Cam Ward this year. But I think what you're going towards is like, don't judge a rookie too quickly. The situation matters a lot.
Yeah, because another guy a guy that I still believe to be the guy, and I'm really high on, man, and I boasted a lot about who he could be as a rookie, is Tetairoa McMillan, and the situation just wasn't ideal. And I thought
he was still damn good, dude. I had him on both my fantasy teams. He put up big games. He did. He had a good.
Yeah, he flashed. He flashed a lot as a rookie for sure, but I think I thought he was going to be, because he was the guy on that team. He could have the possibility. We talked about this, man. I think I had him at like 1,200 yards or something, but it didn't work out. But the situation matters.
Well,
man.
I had Cam Ward over 4,000. So that situation does matter. We discounted the coaching. All these things kind of go back to each other and connect. And Brandon, the reality is if the Titans find the right head coach for Cam Ward in this offseason, it can change just like that. You know, it can. But the thing with the Ted McMillan situation, he has the coach, the quarterback is in place. Is that going to change for Ted, the situation? They're competing for the NFC South, and he's had a pretty good year, but Bryce Young is still going to be his quarterback. And can Bryce Young get him the ball where he needs it down that boundary consistently?
Well, Bryce Young needs to trust him a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
In that last game, I don't know what it finished at, but I think it was like
nice comparison.
Third quarter. I went to their box score. That last game they played, he had one target in the third quarter. I think I was like,
yeah, that situation ain't changing for Ted McMillan, Brandon. That's pretty well set. Like, is Bryce Young the right quarterback to get him the ball in advantageous position?
He needs to be getting a lot of shots, dude.
Yeah. You can't have a game where you don't target him at least 10 times. But I like the resolution of, we tend to say, well, this guy's a bust, or this guy sucks, or this guy's not going to be good. And like, can we ever just give it the 3 years that it makes sense? Can we ever consider those situations that you're talking about there? We rush to evaluate and judge.
And I haven't changed how I feel about
a lot of people did that with Caleb Williams last year, and they were fucking wrong, and they look silly now.
And I still think Cam Ward's a good football player. And
me too. And he's had a solid rookie season, Brandon.
And I'm not going to,
given the situation.
You know me, man. I like to give these guys a lot of time. Not one season, not 2 seasons. I do like to see these guys. I think Bryce Young. Still believe Bryce Young could end up coming on really strong in a future season like next year. You know what I mean?
I have a lot of faith in Bryce Young, but this leads into my resolution that feeds into this. Like, our preconceived notions tend to dictate, you know, how we grade and evaluate
what standard
teams.
We have.
How we grade and evaluate teams and players. You know, like if Shedeur Sanders come in the league and you're convinced he's going to be good, if he's playing like shit, you tend to look past it and make excuses for him. Or if he's playing really well and you thought he was going to suck, you tend to not find the good things in what he's doing and not give him the benefit of a doubt. You give a Tyler Shuck, you know what I'm saying? So those preconceived notions really tend to fuck with us, because that was with the Lions thing, Brandon. That ties into that Lions thing. Like, we had this preconceived notion, like, because of what we'd seen from the Lions the last couple of years, like, they got really good players. They're still going to be a playoff team, despite the fact that we understood that their coaching took a major hit and their offensive line took a major hit.
And their quarterback
so those preconceived notions
suffer.
Yep. Those preconceived notions overrode what we were looking at right in front of us. It was staring us right in the face. You know what I'm saying? So, like, another resolution for me in terms of watching and evaluating the NFL is to not let my preconceived notions dictate my judgment, because that tends to lead to a confirmation bias and tends to make you look really stupid when it's over. You know, like the Lions is the biggest one for me. I think that played into it. I'm trying to think of other ones, but it also happens a lot, like I said, with like judging rookie players. Like, they have one bad game and you're just like, yep, see, he sucks. Or they have one really good game and see, I was right. Like, I got to stop that shit. Like, I want to, you know what I'm saying?
One thing I do, another one, I know we're in the resolutions, man, and there's one I think I have to throw into the I was wrong about.
Well, they all tie in, so it works.
Rome Odunze did not. He's a really good player, man. He did not take the step that I think
some big drops.
Loveland and Burden in just the rookie seasons have made bigger progressions than Rome did.
They've already inspired more confidence than Rome has in his first 2 years.
Now
he's dealing with the injuries
this year, more so than Rome has, even though Rome's been a really big part of this offense.
This is a tough one, Brandon.
Now that Keenan Allen's gone, you know, it was like Rome was going to step in and be just a dominant, better than DJ Moore, better than any. Like, he was going to be a dominant wide receiver, that guy in the NFC North. That when you talk about Justin Jefferson and Amon Ra, I was saying I thought he was going.
Rome's going to be on that level.
Yeah, for sure. And it hasn't.
Let's say this, Brandon. Rome was having a solid year, a pretty damn good year. He had some flaws in terms of drops and big moments not coming through for Caleb that stood out for sure. But like, another guy I had on my fantasy teams, and he had some big weeks where he was really carrying my teams, and he was carrying this Bears team in terms of the receiving core. So I don't want to take away too much credit for him. I think the injuries do play a part in this, and he was obviously hurt those last couple of weeks before they finally shut him down. He was playing through it, and that impacted his play in a major way. If you're looking at the fact that he has 650 yards right now,
Their numbers are almost identical. So if he was on the field, he'd be the leading.
He'd be over he would be the leading receiver, and he would be over. I projected him at 11.
Over 1,000, but
he certainly would. He certainly would. He's missed fucking 4 games, and he played 2 hurt. At least
3, didn't he?
Oh, well, it's about to be 4, and he played at least 2 hurt. So that's 6 games right there.
He would have to have averaged
conservatively
over 100 yards per game over 3 games.
Conservatively, that's 6. No, he would have had to average. If you're talking about the 6, then you average 75 yards a game, and you're over 1,000 yards. And you're telling me he wouldn't have caught a couple more touchdowns? I don't agree with that. So I mean, I'll say Rome did not step up. I agree with that. I feel like Burden and Loveland have inspired more confidence in me as a person who's watched because of the progression. That's what's inspired the confidence than Rome has in his first 2 years. But let's not go back and discount the fact that he was the go-to guy for Caleb Williams the first half of the season and was having a really good year until things kind of went south. I don't want to discount that either.
Yeah, I still believe very much in Rome. I still believe Rome and Luther are your future. I like. That's why people keep presenting the idea of trading DJ Moore over any other piece on this football team, on this Bears roster, because you gotta have room for guys like Rome and Luther, and even Jade Walker is making a pretty strong case to me, man.
I'm not ready to throw Jade Walker in that conversation. I like him, but I'm not ready to throw him in that conversation. There's something
you're never
there.
Gonna know unless he's given opportunities.
Yep, and he's been getting opportunities them
when you're paying a guy like DJ Moore to be on your roster.
And when he's gotten them, he caught a huge touchdown. So yeah, like I said, there's something. I'm just not ready to throw him in that conversation. But I get what you're saying. But I wouldn't say we're wrong about Rome. I wouldn't say that yet. I'm not ready to say that. That's all I'm saying. I think Rome.
He didn't have the season that I expected he would have, though.
Yeah, no, but let's not just forget that the injury and playing hurt is a big part of that, Brandon. If you talk about extrapolating those numbers that he had to when the injury happened, you're talking about at least close to 1,000 yards and 8 touchdowns. I mean, that's not far off of the 1,110 touchdowns I thought he would have in my mind. And True is really with Jade, but I'm just not ready to throw him in that conversation of who's some of the top receivers on this team.
I think not only is Jade a good football player, even in the NFL. I think.
What's up, Mac Dad?
I think he has. Hey,
this is something. New member of the chat. Hold on, new member of the chat alert. Let me just get
What's
this
going on, Mac Dad?
Never seen him before. What's up, Big Perm? Big Worm. How you doing,
Mac Dad? What's going on? I think Jade brings an element that the Bears don't have. So I don't know if I'd say replace Zacchaeus, because Jade Walker is 6'4", 210 or something. I mean, this is a big dude.
Thank you, brother.
Appreciate you, Mac Dad. I think he's an outside the numbers guy. I agree with you if you mean he's certainly your number 4. If DJ Moore's still here, if you don't intend on trading him, it's DJ.
He's not in that conversation with those other 3 guys.
No, if DJ, Rome, and Luther are your guys, Jade is for sure should next year be that 4th guy. But he's not.
Yeah, and I'm totally fine with Oz.
He's not
Oz being gone.
Yeah.
But
Jade Walker does.
I haven't for a long time.
Jade Walker does provide something that DJ Moore, Luther, and Rome do not.
Potentially, I think
the
Rome
biggest guy on this football team.
Rome can high point again.
Yeah,
just not ready to say. Yeah. What's the difference? Oh, an inch. Rome can go up and get the goddamn ball. Let Rome come back in these playoffs, and then let's talk about it. I want Rome is a damn good receiver.
If Rome and Kyle Gordon come back, man, that's huge.
That's a thing, and that's a problem for teams. And honestly, Rome and Luther Burden on the field together is a fucking problem for teams. And you throw Colston Loveland into that mix and DJ Moore. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. I hope he comes back, because if he does, he will make an impact on winning football for this team. You got to eliminate the drops. I'm with you there. Like, he did not impress me the way I expected him to this season, but injuries are a part of that, right? The injury is a big part of it.
Yeah, and he still would have been the leading receiver, so we got that right.
Okay. So New Year's resolutions, do you got any more for
No.
the NFL season? I feel like we had some good ones though. I think that we got pretty introspective there and really looked inward to find, but now the key is just like with any resolution, do we stick to it? Do we get back to our offseason predictions this coming year and we fucking just completely go off the rails and don't remember, like, don't judge a guy too soon. Get past your preconceived notions and look at what's in front of you. Yeah, use your intuition. Stick with that. You know what I'm saying? And don't look past bad coaching or good coaching. That's the big one. You know what I'm saying? But that's what I got, man. I think it's been a damn good year.
What about you guys in the chat? Anybody have a resolution as a fan? Were you thinking to yourself, this Bears team's not going to accomplish this? They're not going to accomplish that. Did you think Caleb was a bust? Any resolutions from anybody here? Did you think I need to stop treating the Bears players as if they're the same old Bears? You know what I mean? Because a lot of guys did. Like
Jojo Loco, is that another new member of the chat?
What's up, Jojo?
What do we got here? Intense applause.
Oh, whoa.
Pretty intense, man. His resolution is for our front seven to get after it. I mean, I'd like to have a little more control over my resolutions.
In the playoffs, good God.
This team would be a real tough team to beat. They're a tough team to beat without that. But JoJo, thank you for being here, man. Hit that like button.
For sure.
Hit that like button. Subscribe, man. Glad you're here. Thank you for joining us. J2K says, nope, 12-5 prediction in preseason. Ben DA, trenches, skill players draft. J2K has just been on it. Nothing with how you evaluated this NFL season at all. Everything's been perfect, man. You had that kind of year. I've had those kind of years. There's certain years where you're feeling yourself and you get everything right, and you make sure everybody knows. But I think it's important to, keep it in perspective. Jed says New Year's resolutions for 2026 will be the beginning of a dynasty in Chicago for the last half of the 2020s. Again, I love the spirit, but more in the spirit of like how you analyze and evaluate the NFL football season is what we're talking about.
As a Bears fan.
As a Bears fan or as a fan of the NFL in general?
Yeah, what did you do where you're like, man, I knew I probably shouldn't have when I did it, and I don't think I'll do it again. You know what I mean? That's your resolution right there, basically.
Mac Dad says Ryan Poles has to match or come close.
But J2K, that's huge. Okay. That's huge. Sorry, his prediction was huge because we allowed ourselves as fans to say this team can't win a Super Bowl. They can't make the playoffs. They can't win a division. So your prediction, there was a prediction against the rest for sure.
Ryan Poles has to match or come close to drafting talent on defense this coming off season, just like he did for the offseason and the offense last draft. Ted says, nah, I predict the Bears. Yeah, defense needs to be the focus in this offseason, Mac. There, we agree. We've talked about that throughout the show. Go back and
just
watch.
The same as you did the offensive line. You do it to the other trench.
Ted says, nah, I predicted the Bears going 10-7 and winning the division. Was scared of how the offense would be first year of Ben Johnson offense. So that's part of it. Like we didn't give enough credit to this quarterback and this offensive line and this head coach. And it's like those are the three most important things. J2K says, I thought JJ McHandoff would look better. I did not. I thought he would suck, and he's kind of delivered on that, so that's cool. And then Ted says, I thought the defense was going to be a top 10 defense because of DA, but I was wrong there.
That's a good one. That's
a
good one, Ted,
a lot of Bears fans. A lot of people were
throwing that out, and Dustin, I stood very firm on that defense being a bad unit.
You did. You did, and I thought there was room for improvement. I wasn't as high on them as a lot of people, but I was kind of like in between you and those other fans where I was at. John says, I had a really good year gambling. I'm feeling pretty smart. Resolution 1, don't get overconfident.
Gamble more. When the playoffs come, I'll be all over FanDuel, man. All over it.
I'm going into next season with high hopes. Steve throws out the big worm. Yeah, saw that one. And then Jed says, are you telling me New Year's resolutions don't work like wishes?
Yeah, no, you're in control of them.
I wish they did. Yeah.
That you have to make happen.
Listen, man, the Bears need to make a win happen on Sunday, and they need to make a playoff run happen in January. That's what they need to do. So the Bears are in control of that. Let's watch them get it done. This season has just been
resolution
amazing.
needs to be
Yeah.
bounced back.
This Bear season is the gift that keeps on giving. We'll see how long that can go for. I'm just excited to be able to watch it and be a part of it.
If we think
I'm
what the
excited to.
Bears' New Year's resolution should be, it should be bounced back this week. It
Yep.
should be the Bears'
Yep.
New Year's resolution.
Yep. Go get the dub. I'm excited for 2026 with 4-Star Chicago Sports. Bare Minimum's going to keep coming to you guys on Thursday. We got the pre-show kickoff on Sunday here. We're not going to have a lot more of them left. Then we got the off season coming up. It's going to be a lot of fun. Monday, we got the House Hall Hangover. We're here every Monday for that. Wednesday, the Barely There podcast with Sean, Kyle, and Jay. They do a great fucking job. Make sure you guys are tuning in for that. Wednesdays at 7.
The Northside 9 will fire up again.
Northside 9 coming back when the Cubs come back. It's going to be an awesome 2026. It's been a great 2025. Hopefully the Bears keep the train rolling. I can't wait to see what happens.
Yeah, I would love to do a Bare Minimum the week of the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll do one either way, but one that the Bears are in.
A pregame.
Yeah.
A Bears pregame at Bare Minimum, I should say. That'd be pretty cool, man.
Good, better, best makes a pretty good resolution. Yes, sir. Bear down, y'all.
Yeah,
Brandon, you got anything else?
They have played their best football in December, man. I mean, Ben Johnson is like my hero.
A dream come true. Yeah.
He does everything right in the moment, man. It's crazy how, like, the shirt thing was ridiculous, man, but it was like in that moment.
Exactly what Chicago needed to get
yeah.
Yes.
He's just
perfect.
He's like a myth.
Play into the crowd. He's like a pro wrestler.
That's why you got to believe the Bears are just as good as anybody in this playoff team, man. Or in this playoffs.
All right, Brandon. Well, chat, we love you.
Well,
you guys have been awesome tonight.
Recap real quick, man. What was your score?
I had 34-24 Bears. Close game, honestly. The Bears get a field goal kind of to make it a little safe towards the end, but you're going to be sweating it out because that's what the Bears do to you guys. Let's not get it twisted.
I had 37-19.
Brandon thinks it's going to be a blowout, and we both think Caleb gets the 4,000-yard mark.
Yeah, and I think the Bears take the ball away pretty consistently.
Mm-hmm. All right, man. It's been a hell of a year. Going to be a great one going forward. 4-Star Chicago Sports always here with you. This has been the Bare Minimum. I'm Dustin Jones. That's Brandon DePlacy. We love y'all. Have a great morning. Have a great weekend. Go Bears. Bear down.
We'll see you Sunday.
Yes, sir. Sunday for the pregame.